when he wakes up to a scene more unrealistic than a unicorn smoking weed. A blonde beauty tells him she loves reading manga, too, leaving him wondering what he did to deserve this blessing. Suddenly, a short redhead asks if he's serious while grabbing his hand. Meanwhile, another girl stares him down like a desperate graduate looking at a rare job opening. Our boy just wanted a normal life, but now a blue-haired hottie is ready to confess. Everyone keeps pointing at him and calling him Kim, but that is not his real name. How did things even get to this point? He remembers waking up in a hospital with everyone crying over his miraculous recovery. The doctors were stunned. Sobbing, they asked if he knew who he was or what happened before the crash. Truth is, he was just a regular grad student. Then a freak lab fire happened, and he died trying to rescue his hard drive and wipe his search history. Talk about priorities. He couldn't make it out, passed out, and woke up in this bed. Staring into the mirror, he realizes this is definitely not his face. During the car ride home, memories from his host start flooding in. He has reincarnated as Kim, a normal middle schooler prepping for high school entrance exams. His Korean parents recently moved to Japan, and the real Kim fell into a coma after a bad crash. He stares at his hands, reincarnated into the body of an emo kid with terrible hair and no looks, but hey, no more grad school. Honestly, anything beats the absolute academic hellhole he just escaped. Still, he worries this body jacking could suddenly wear off at any moment. How is he supposed to survive with a completely random family? His new mother tells him to go rest, and his feet move on muscle memory. Straight to Kim's room. Stepping inside, he completely freezes in sheer shock. The space is packed wall-to-wall with manga and tons of spicy anime figurines. It is a total cave of otaku degeneracy. As a regular guy, he cannot understand this collection, but he has to act the part. If he acts normal, they will suspect he is an imposter. He spots a poster of a guy looking exactly like Kim in a cringy pose. He realizes this guy Kim has been role-playing this edgy character his entire life 24/7. Honestly, Kim looks like the type of guy who lived by his own weird rules. Our boy starts digging through all the manga. He desperately needs to know how Kim behaves around his family and classmates. He even finds a classic rom-com series, but the main character looks weirdly familiar. He opens a series called Scramble Love, a story where two girls fight over one clueless guy. It was a massive bestseller, a total return to classic romance. It gave the readers exactly what they always wanted. The childhood friend actually winning. The entire fandom went completely wild. He tells himself he should stop, but 5 hours later he is officially infected by the otaku virus. He is exhausted but keeps on reading anyway. Suddenly, his mother asks him to help take some customer orders. Time to test his acting skills. He dramatically calls his mom his creator, telling her in a deep, edgy voice that he complies. She actually buys it. She sighs and tells Kim he is just the same as always. He cannot believe that such a cringy line actually worked. He rethinks all his life choices. But wait, being the son of a barbecue joint owner is absolute gold. He gets all the free protein he wants. Suddenly, a new customer walks in. The guy has bright blonde hair, with another blonde right by his side. She is blushing like a tomato, telling him she is going to feed him. He cannot escape. Honestly, this dude is suffering from success, complaining that his lobster is too buttery and his steak is way too juicy. Kim instantly recognizes him as Ryuji, the main lead of Scramble Love. He cannot believe he is reincarnated inside a manga he literally just read. He was ordinary before, but passed out in a fire while trying to erase his spicy search history. God must have rewarded that questionable search history by sending him straight into this otaku body. Unfortunately, it seems our boy Kim is just a total background extra. In Scramble Love, being a side character, he stays up all night studying the plot. Watching the lovebirds is painful, but it is not much different from his past life. He was a complete nobody then, and he is a nobody now. Still, at least he did not end up in some terrifying, dark action world. This is a peaceful rom-com. If he can just stay away from Ryuji, he will be totally fine. He immediately gets busy researching every book in his room to prepare, eventually applying to a private academy far away from his family. Scoring the highest rank lands him a full scholarship and a secure spot on the student council. He proved that you can be an otaku and a highly successful member of society. Still, he has to adapt to this new body. and make it work. Alongside drawing, he decides he needs a better hobby. Fitness seems like a great choice, and that is exactly how his training begins. He hits the treadmill, builds his stamina, and does push-ups until he collapses. He practically lives on the bench press, feeling the insane rush of blood. As he morphs from a weak nerd into a total gym beast, years pass. And high school begins. Suddenly, everyone is staring at a giant walking past. This guy looks like he walked straight out of a legendary fighting anime. Wait, don't tell me this absolute unit is actually Kim. It really is. He successfully enters his sophomore year, transforming his life from a pathetic side character to a completely jacked mountain of muscle. The pink cherry blossoms are falling beautifully across the campus right now. He remembers pumping heavy iron day and night to build this physique. His bulk up is absolute madness, and he did it all for survival. Because in a manga universe, even a simple rom-com can get pretty wild. What if alien ghosts or yakuza suddenly attack? You can never be too safe. So he got ridiculously shredded. He steps inside his brand new classroom and immediately spots Yamaguchi, the main heroine of the story, walking over. To Ryuji, the protagonist sighs, muttering that it is not a good morning. Sitting just a few feet away, Kim is listening to their chat. This is an absolute disaster. Somehow, he ended up in Ryuji's class. His genius plan to blend in was to pack on 300 pounds of solid muscle and look like a yakuza boss instead of a student. About how his day started off entirely wrong. First, he lost his wallet. And then he crashed into some random girl on the street. Kim listens in, totally surprised. Suddenly, the teacher shouts at everyone to quiet down and get to their seats. Yamaguchi heads back to her desk while the teacher keeps talking about a big announcement. Apparently, there is a new transfer student, a blonde girl with gorgeous emerald eyes and a playful grin who steps right up to the front of the class. The other kids wonder if she is from another country. She introduces herself as Kishimoto, explaining that she moved from far away and absolutely loves cats, sweets, and hot soup. Kim is stunned. He ended up in the same class as the main character. All of them right here, together with the main heroine and side heroine. He remembers she actually won the character popularity polls, even though she lost the main romance. Talk about bad luck. Fate decides to seat Kishimoto directly next to Kim and Ryuji. Ryuji instantly recognizes her as the angry girl from earlier today, and Kishimoto remembers him as the rude guy who crashed into her and called her a total pervert. The teacher, completely oblivious to the incredibly tense vibe, says it is wonderful that they already know each other and tells her to take her seat. They sit down and Kishimoto immediately gives Ryuji the cold shoulder while handing him his lost wallet. Kim sits there stiff as a board, trying his best to look completely invisible. He wonders if he will have to survive this drama for the next 2 years or if he should just transfer. Later that day, another student asks to borrow Kim's manga. Even as a busy high schooler, Kim makes sure to stay updated on the latest stories. Since his life now follows classic rom-com logic, he has to keep his memory sharp. Nerd's in trouble. He envisions a guy caught between two beautiful girls. Suddenly, Ryuji grabs Kishimoto's hands and asks if they can talk in private. He wants to apologize for this morning, and she agrees with a slight blush. The classmate asks Kim if something is going on between those two, but Kim smoothly excuses himself from the conversation by telling the guy he desperately needs to use the restroom the moment he steps out into the hallway. Other students freeze in fear, wondering if the yakuza has invaded their school. Rumors are already spreading that Kim is actually the heir to a deadly assassination clan. Total confusion. He keeps wondering why they are acting so terrified of him. Is he seriously saying he just bulked up a little? Look at him, he is massive now. That is like telling your parents you are only slightly broke after finishing an art degree. Anyway, he decides to hurry up and spy on the unfolding event between the main characters. He needs to gather every bit of information he can. The perfect spot for a private talk is right behind the school building, and that is exactly where the two are heading. To his surprise, Kishimoto and Ryuji actually seem to be getting along. Ryuji tries the ultimate dramatic apology by clapping his hands together and bowing deeply. That is the exact same desperate move I use when rent is due and my bank account is empty. Luckily for him, it actually works. Kim cannot believe that such a ridiculous pose is enough to make Kishimoto laugh. She tells him he is just a harmless guy, proving she is not the type to hold a grudge. Things are going incredibly well between them. Kim decides to play the ultimate spy by hiding in the nearby bushes. Holding two leafy branches to blend in, he watches Kishimoto smiling happily. She is so bright and cheerful, it is no wonder she was the fan favorite, but sadly, this sweet girl is still destined to lose the romance game. A childhood friend, suddenly another girl spots Kim crouching low in the bushes, trying to blend in. He stands out like a sore thumb. Right away, the woman calls out to him. She asks what the great student council secretary is doing hiding in the dirt like this. Behind the leaves, she is an absolute 11 out of 10, teasingly asking if he is spying. On high school girls, turns out she is a Kyoto noble, head of the student council. She even has a bit of a villainous vibe. Kim remembers her perfectly. She completely tanked in the popularity polls and became a joke character, but still. He needs to steer clear of the main cast. Her name is Kumiko. Thinking fast, Kim spins a ridiculous excuse to explain his weird behavior. He claims he was inspecting a fallen branch to decorate their council room. He shoves the ordinary twig into her hands, trying to act cool but failing miserably. It is incredibly awkward. Kumiko stares at the sad little twig in her hand. She honestly wonders if his muscles grew at the direct expense of his brain cells. Yet she blushes slightly and accepts it. Since the secretary picked it, she will keep it. It will go right on the council desk. Unbelievably, she actually falls for his excuse. To change the subject, he asks if she is ready for the upcoming semester. Kumiko just giggles. She mentions wanting to grab a bite with the council officers. She specifically invites him to join. It is pretty obvious she has a crush on him. Our muscle-brained hero is completely clueless. He immediately ruins the mood by opening his mouth. He warns her that the school cafeteria serves basic, cheap food she might hate. Kumiko laughs it off. She claims she actually knows a lot about commoner food. Specifically, she heard they make an amazing spicy pork bowl, just like his family restaurant. She genuinely likes that stuff. Kim is not sure whether to feel flattered or offended. Still, it is surprising that a rich girl like her would eat normal school food. But here is the catch. The cafeteria does not even serve spicy pork bowls. This instantly crushes her expectations. Disappointed, she asks what they actually have. Kim says it is something similar. Now she is completely hesitating about this lunch. She wonders if she will be forced to eat mystery meat. Suddenly, someone approaches. He urgently reminds Kumiko that her expensive steak is getting cold and they must return. Meet Akagi, her incredibly loyal subordinate, and the student council vice president. Akagi glares at Kim, realizing the guy is about as sharp as a marble. Kim has absolutely no clue that the beautiful president is completely into him. She is literally skipping her own meals just to spend a few minutes with him. Kumiko quickly steps in front of Kim, desperately signaling Akagi to keep quiet. She does not want her secret exposed, but Akagi cannot stand Kim's dense behavior. Since Akagi's family has served her family for generations, he takes action. He is determined to play matchmaker and get this muscle-brained gorilla to date her. Kumiko tells him to calm down, pointing out that their Wagyu steak is freezing. They finally walk away, leaving our main guy completely clueless about the situation. Seriously, who would turn down a beautiful rich girl and free premium steaks? After school, he heads over to the subway station to catch a train home. His massive physique makes everyone nearby feel tiny. Kim sighs, reflecting on his day. Because of his intimidating frame, people steer clear of him on the street. He just wants to lay low and avoid the main cast at all costs. If he keeps his head down, he might just survive this crazy school. Unnoticeable, our guy is totally fired up. Size is king, and he's glad he worked out. Nearby, an innocent girl looks at him and wonders if he's a high schooler or a mobster. Only 10 minutes are left before his train arrives, so he pops open a can of cherry drink. He decides to just live a normal life as a background character, or so he thought. Next thing he knows, Kishimoto spots him and recognizes him as her classmate. She introduces herself. Why the hell is he here, and will this intense bulk up push Kim from main character status straight to the sidelines, or will things finally get back on track? Kishimoto apologizes, admitting she was pretty worried about what to do until she ran into Kim. She acts friendly, like a golden retriever. Asking for a quick favor, wondering if he knows how to reach her destination, Kim looks at her, totally confused. Honestly, how is she not absolutely terrified of his massive size? And how did she know his name? The dummy forgot he was wearing his school name tag. Kishimoto laughs, telling Kim he's a good person, which completely surprises him when people look At him, a nice guy is not the first thing they think of. Yakuza, probably. Maybe a masochist, definitely unemployed and hopeless. So what on earth is she talking about? Kishimoto explains he is exactly the kind of person she expected, but he's more interested in how she even remembered him. Back in class, he gave off a bizarre aura that felt like it fell straight through 5 different dimensions. It was impossible for Kishimoto not to notice him. Plus, there are crazy rumors that he fought 50 bikers at once, turned down the Yakuza, and gave Goku purple nipples. This made her curious, and she is glad he is actually kind and pretty funny, but Kim is conflicted because Kishimoto is the main heroine, and he hates getting tangled in lame romantic drama. Still, seeing her kindness despite those rumors proves she is #1 in the popularity polls. Should he just flex his massive muscles and scare her off? Suddenly, Kishimoto snaps him out of it by pouting. Because he is ignoring her, Kim quickly thanks her for the compliment, and Kishimoto tells him everyone will eventually see who he truly is. He shouldn't worry about rumors. Because even if he looks scary, he has a sweetheart. They should be friends. Kim, who wanted to scare her away from the start, realizes it's completely useless. She's the type to nose into everyone's business, even if he were just an ordinary otaku playing with his action figures. She would have asked who the character was. Crossing paths was inevitable, but he still wants to stick to his quiet background character lifestyle. He tells Kishimoto that he's looking forward to being friends, doing it in a creepy way that would make most girls file restraining order, but she just giggles, then asks if he knows how to get to her place. Looking at the address, he realizes she is from uptown, where luxury mansions line every single street. She's a classic rich kid who doesn't know how the world works. He tells her to board the same train he is taking since they live nearby. His neighborhood is only 2 stops away from her place. Kishimoto is thrilled they live so close, but Kim realizes he is just digging himself into an even deeper hole. He prepared to survive this crazy rom-com from the very start, training his body like he was preparing to fight Satan himself. The only problem is he never actually read the original manga, Scramble Love. He decides that the absolute best way to get more information about this manga is to become friends with Kishimoto, so if things ever go south, he can always give her advice. He even imagines threatening some guy into going on a date with Kishimoto. Our boy, lost in his glorious delusion, decides that as a classmate, he can be her friend and help her out without changing the plot too much. He even offers her a drink on the house, so she grabs a Coke and thoroughly enjoys it, telling Kim she hasn't had sugar in ages because she's watching her figure. Turns out she's also a model. She shows Kim a picture of her in cosplay, and Kim notices she looks totally different in person. Maybe it's because of makeup, but she angrily laughs, saying it's not. An unlikely friendship has officially formed, but will this push Ryuji into the chair, or will the plot still proceed exactly as it's supposed to? The train pulls into the station and they board it. Every guy in a 10-mile radius tries to avoid eye contact with Kim, whispering that he is the demon lord himself. Kishimoto giggles that traveling with Kim definitely has its perks, since no one will bother her. While they're on the ride, when they step off, she tries memorizing the route while Kim leads her onto the train. Once she gets off at her stop, she smiles with the blinding radiance of 1,000 suns, promising to see him tomorrow. Kim is left wondering why the world he has to entertain this golden retriever of a girl every single day. It's finally recess, and Kishimoto is actively trying to sniff out where Kim is. She wanders around and finally finds him sitting in the parking lot, quietly enjoying some sushi all by himself. She looks at him with tears pooling in her eyes, feeling incredibly sorry that Kim has to eat alone every day. Kim replies that if he eats in the classroom, everyone looks like they're about to have a stroke, but she insists that he should sit with other people. Honestly, our boy is way more comfortable eating alone. Other kids don't need to piss their pants every time they see him stuffing his face full of protein, and besides, she was the one who said that someday everyone will see the real him, so he is going to wait patiently. Kishimoto still feels bad, but her mood completely shifts as soon as she spots the sushi rolls in his lap. She immediately starts drooling over them and asks if she can try one. Kim is glad she stopped crying and gladly offers her one. Kishimoto laughs, asking if he wants to see her crying forever instead. She thinks he is so funny, even though our boy's actual sense of humor is as lively as a 4-week-old dead possum. Our boy totally mistakes Kishimoto's interest for the Sushi rolls and she pouts, complaining that she isn't in it for the food. In reality, he has gotten pretty close to this cheerful blondie, and it is never awkward hanging around with her as soon as she pops one of the sushi rolls in her mouth. She is literally moved to tears. She compliments Kim and his family's restaurant, even offering a slice of her own rolled omelet. Our boy is living the good life. He has got a scholarship, and now he is eating a rolled omelet right off her lap. But as soon as he pops one in his mouth, his entire body freezes as if trying to shut down, since this omelet has an unholy amount of sugar added to it. It is way too sweet for any God-fearing man. Kim asks how much sugar she put in. Kishimoto replies a reasonable amount, in the exact same way my college charged a reasonable amount for my arts degree without warning me that I would end up unemployed, broke, and potentially homeless in the next 5. Kim decides he cannot watch his new friend ruin her health with all that sugar. He will show her how to make an amazing omelet with only salt. Kishimoto laughs off his strange taste, even though she is the truly weird one. But their peaceful lunch is cut short when the fun police arrive, meaning Kumiko and Akagi. Kumiko looks ready to burst into flames and tears at once. She points at Kim, yelling that their heterosexual relationship is totally unforgivable. And as student council president, she refuses to tolerate it. The guys are baffled. Just eating lunch together is a crime. Akagi immediately accuses Kim of making excuses after getting caught red-handed. But there is absolutely nothing scandalous going on here today. Why are they acting so strange while arguing like this? Kishimoto quietly notices Kumiko staring right back at her. Kumiko asks if she has anything to say for herself. Kishimoto proudly claims she is the Dark Student Council president. Kumiko is stunned. Why is she called the Dark President when her skin is not dark? Rumor says it is because of her pitch-black school uniform. Kumiko snaps back. Is wearing black really that bad? Kishimoto says she looks like she has been cosplaying her whole life. Hearing her look compared to a cosplayer completely crushes her delicate spirits. Even with her spirits crushed, Kumiko warns her to watch her back. Her mallard waifu will not let some golden retriever girl steal her muscle gorilla. She covers her face and runs, classic tactical retreat. This leaves Kim and Kishimoto speechless. Later, Kim sits in class. Kishimoto walks up and asks him what he is currently doing. Turns out he is trying out different clubs. Honestly, he belongs in the Z Fighters, but he wants to try sports clubs first. With a solid plan, they finally make their move. He wants to see how far his monstrous strength can take him. A dark purple aura suddenly flares around him as he grins. Time to absolutely crush the spirits of every single athlete here. First is the football club, where 2 delinquents are busy missing shots. The goalkeeper notes their aim is as bad as a blind marksman. One delinquent curses, while the actual players are totally over their nonsense. The troublemakers even accuse the team of sucking, but someone snaps. These self-proclaimed bone crushers freeze as the massive 6-foot captain approaches. The 6-foot captain steps up and tells them to get off his field immediately. Or get clapped. Realizing they stand 0 chance, they quickly back down. A short teammate tells the captain he is glad he saved them. The captain asks about this year's batch of freshmen. He is told they have 0 talent, just complete trash. If only they had one powerhouse, everything would change. Little does he know, his prayer is about to be answered. Meanwhile, the delinquents grit their teeth, furious at their treatment. They complain about those athletes plotting to take over the school. But they definitely cannot take on the captain alone. He is the captain because his kicks supposedly top 100 kilometers per hour, a complete exaggeration. While this blonde idiot is busy daydreaming about winning a massive fistfight, he bumps into the wrong guy, the absolute worst choice. He tries acting tough, asking who the unlucky punk is about to get beaten up, only to realize it is Kim, the absolute monster high schooler of Shibuya. Kim glares down, telling him to say that again. The guys instantly realize they are about to be crushed to dust and packed into matching urns. They bolt in sheer terror, screaming about him being from some crazy assassination clan. Kim just stands there completely confused, while Kishimoto wonders why everyone thinks he is a trained killer. And why did he stare those guys down like that? Doesn't he want to make friends? While they talk, he finally arrives at the field, and his massive presence immediately looms. That dark aura, it completely terrifies every soccer player on the field. They assume he is some delinquent boss here for revenge, but the coach steps up. He tells the loudmouth to back off and let the real men talk before approaching Kim. He has heard some wild rumors, but he wants to judge this giant for himself. Kim does not look like some thug's cleanup crew, honestly, with that insane build. He is already a national-level powerhouse. The coach walks right up and introduces himself as the captain, asking what brings him to the field. Kim, who towers over the coach by a full 1.5 feet, simply asks to try out. Total humiliation. Just standing near Kim makes the coach feel tiny. Kim's muscles are so massive that his school uniform is stretched to the absolute limit. If this guy actually joins the soccer team, going to nationals is going to be incredibly easy. Winning the entire national championship would basically be a quick side quest for them. Kim asks if he is all right, since he just spaced out for 10 whole minutes. The coach snaps out of it and explains the simple entrance test. Just kick the ball into the goal as hard as possible, one shot to make it count. Kim concentrates, channeling his inner pro striker as his heavy aura begins to flare. He is about to go all out. His massive calves expand from years of hard training. He has been squatting 300 kilograms for 3 years, and now he unleashes that power. The air vibrates, a loud sonic boom echoes across the schoolyard. But the net is completely empty. Everyone turns around, sweating in sheer disbelief. Kim literally popped the ball with a single kick. He sighs, realizing soccer is a bust. He decides to check out the basketball club, leaving the stunned coach completely speechless. Word spreads fast about this giant freshman, absolutely destroying every single sports club. Even a beautiful girl holding a practice sword wonders if Kim is finally making his move. Our main character is now the absolute center of attention with his godlike physical frame. So much for his quiet dream of living an ordinary, unnoticed high school life. Next up is basketball. Of course, our guy goes up for a monster slam dunk, shocking the entire gym by completely shattering the heavy steel hoop. Zero contest. Next, he brings his monstrous power to the baseball club. He launches the baseball like a meteor, blasting it straight into the stratosphere. Tennis is next. Naturally, he shatters the racket and cracks the pavement, and destroys his opponent's dreams with one single, devastating swing. Kishimoto looks over the massive list of wrecked clubs, and Kim asks if there are more. She just laughs. Adjusting her glasses, she goes into full manager mode. She goes full secretary mode, but our boy is completely immune to her cute charms. First is the track club. He can run laps around the field if he wants. Then there is the swim club, or finally, the legendary kendo club. He can use a wooden sword to bonk people within a 10-mile radius. Those are his 3 choices. She dramatically whips off her glasses. She asks if her briefing was perfect. Kim just wonders why she is so extra. And where did those glasses even come from? She asks where they are going. She will guide him anywhere. Talk about major golden retriever energy. Kim asks if she took acting classes with modeling. That makes her blush. He tells her she actually has a knack for it and should try acting. She gets super embarrassed. She starts twisting around, claiming she is shy. Apparently, she did something similar, which sends his mind straight to the gutter. Why would acting make her shy? What exactly was she doing back then? Did she sell content online? He quickly tries to shake that thought away. Kishimoto is not that kind of girl. She would definitely never do that. As a main character in this story, she cannot have a sketchy past. He wonders if he should just ask, but she grabs his arm to deflect. She eagerly pushes him to go check out the remaining 3 sports clubs. Kim decides to drop the subject. He chooses the kendo club first. She happily leads the way, but the kendo students freeze in pure horror. They watch in absolute dread as Kim walks right up to the entrance. Whispers spread about how he crushed the other clubs to conquer this school. Some girls are even fighting over who gets to interview this absolute beast. Kishimoto steps up as his manager, telling them to talk to her instead. Suddenly, the dojo doors swing open. A mysterious figure steps forward. She calls Kim a cheap delinquent, using sports as an excuse to fight. There is no way she will let him run wild around here anymore. She points her bamboo sword right at his face. This is Fuma. The crowd cheers for Fuma, thrilled someone is standing up to him. But Kim calmly explains he is not here for trouble, just to try out. Fuma mocks the giant gorilla wanting to use a sword, proposing a match. A simple 1-point match. The first person to land a valid hit wins. She will be his opponent inside, ordering him to enter the training hall. Everyone is shocked that this walking disaster is fighting the sword princess. Some students are even starting to bet money on who will win. Kishimoto complains that he is being treated like a bad guy, but Kim ignores it. Fuma snaps at everyone to shut up. This is a private duel. Anyone who dares to enter the dojo is going to get folded. Well, looks like our boy is forced to step onto their turf now. The watching students are terrified, realizing Fuma is actually the real deal. She feels like a serpent tightening around prey. Kim follows her inside. Inside the dojo, Fuma stands ready with a bamboo sword in hand. She asks if he is ready and if he brought any protective gear. Kim jokingly replies that he already has a bamboo sword in his pants. But he will grab another one, especially since normal armor never fits him. Fuma points out that he is absolutely massive, no wonder they cannot. Any gear to fit him, so she decides they will skip protection. Kim grabs his bamboo sword and warns Fuma not to blame him if. She just smirks at this giant boulder of a guy. Is she really worried? To actually get hurt, she vows he won't touch a single strand of her hair. Suddenly, the room echoes with the loud clash of bamboo swords. Fuma puts her. She puts full strength into the blow, but Kim parries it without even trying. She's pulling off flashy moves while Kim just stands there, swatting her away. To her, Kim is still just a basic guy who worked out a little. Surely a simple brute cannot beat a trained martial artist. She swings again. But Kim dodges the strike right in the nick of time. She spots a sudden opening and swings directly for his hand, completely disarming him. His weapon goes flying through the air. Kim looks shocked as Fuma charges forward. She charges with insane confidence, absolutely sure she has this in the bag. She rushes in, sword ready, eyes burning with determination. But when she sees this massive high schooler laughing like a maniac, she freezes and leaps back while Kim just catches his sword midair. Fuma is completely rattled by his presence. Was this a trick to bait her? Meanwhile, Kim is just confused why she retreated when she had the advantage. Now Fuma decides to unleash her ultimate secret move on this absolute unit. She will end this with her ridiculously named Evil Slicing Slash. Rushing forward, she declares that the fight is over. Then, a loud boom echoes through the training hall. This is the Fuma clan's secret technique. She grins with victory, but suddenly, a wooden sword tip flashes toward her. It strikes her right on the chin, leaving her completely dazed. She cannot even comprehend what just hit her. Was it a hidden weapon? Falling backward, she spots her split sword and finally understands. His insane steel abs literally acted like a shield of biological armor. Her weapon broke on impact, and the shattered piece bounced back to hit her face. Talk about a humiliating defeat. The next morning, rumors spread like wildfire. Word is out that Kim crushed the kendo captain so hard she is hospitalized. Students are whispering that Kim has officially taken over the whole school. Kim realizes these crazy rumors are spreading way too fast for comfort. He just desperately hopes he has not ruined the main timeline. At least his friend Ryuji is acting normal, ignoring all the school drama. Our guy still stubbornly believes that he is not the protagonist here. Just then, a fiery red-haired girl bursts into the classroom, shouting for Ryuji. The classmates whisper about this random, angry girl. It is Tojo Karen. Ryuji asks why she wants him, and Karen starts demanding immediate answers. She claims he picked a fight with some of the kendo club freshmen. Visiting them in the hospital, she heard everything. Ryuji insists it is a misunderstanding. But Karen is not listening to any excuses. Suddenly, Yaguchi steps right in. She yells that those kendo freshmen were completely in the wrong. They cornered her in an alley, and Ryuji only stepped in to protect her. Why on earth is she trying to blame him? Karen just scoffs. He tells Karen to discipline her junior, which completely catches her off guard. Since it is not Ryuji's fault, she suddenly declares that if that is the case, then he needs to be her boyfriend, promising to make him the happiest guy alive. Total shock, she went from hostility to pure submission in seconds. She immediately yells at this home wrecker to back away from her future husband, while Kim stares in shock at the sudden confession. A massive war has begun. Meanwhile, Kishimoto watches Karen and thinks she is honestly the coolest person ever. Decision time. Everyone gathers around to see who Ryuji will choose. Yaguchi, who has a sweet face and massive curves that turn everyone's head, and a skirt that is shorter than a modern attention span. Then we have the tomboyish Karen, featuring fiery red hair and the protective instincts of a mother. Kim cannot believe Everyone is losing their minds over Ryuji's love life. If only they put all this energy into getting actual girlfriends, they wouldn't need to gossip about other guys. Honestly, you can't deny that Karen's sudden confession was incredibly interesting. Just then, Kishimoto asks which girl he thinks Ryuji will choose, but Kim decides to keep quiet. After all, there is the sweet childhood friend. However, Kishimoto is betting that Ryuji will end up with Karen. To make that happen, she plans to offer Karen some serious relationship coaching. Kim is pure confidence. She genuinely considers herself a relationship expert. Later, Kim walks into the classroom and notices Karen sitting right by the window. He asks a classmate what on earth this girl is doing in their room. Apparently, she has been begging Ryuji to hang out with her over the weekend, so she can buy him lunch as an apology. There is also a wild rumor that she is the daughter of a legendary criminal. Her father is basically a Yakuza. Yakuza boss. Kim is unimpressed. Ryuji scolds his friends for being mean. She has not even done anything. His classmates are completely stunned. They even want to call him boss for being open-minded, but Kim calls it gay. He warns him that real life is not some romance manga. Avoid her. Karen suddenly stands up and approaches Ryuji, asking if he has plans for this weekend. She is trying to get his attention, but Yaguchi keeps stepping in. Chaos erupts. The boys simp for Karen and curse Ryuji. The following day, Karen visits his classroom to ask him again, corners him in the locker room to ask him again, and even tracks him to the bathroom urinal. Urinal duty, yep, talk about having the legendary determination of a monk. A dedicated monk. Meanwhile, Kishimoto asks Kim about his plans for this weekend. Kim expects to spend his time helping out at the family restaurant, but Kishimoto invites him over to her house instead, promising a mountain of manga to read. Apparently, her father has a massive collection that is essentially a private library. Tempted by the promise of endless reading and snacks, Kim decides to visit her place. He also notices how incredibly thin she is despite eating far more than a normal person. Kishimoto explains that her heavy lunches keep her full, though she never snacks, plus all that extra food goes straight to her chest. As our boy tries to process this logic, he realizes it is actually true. He fell right into her trap, and she just laughs at him. Suddenly, Karen slides into the seat next to them, which is exactly what she wanted. This is the golden opportunity Kishimoto has been waiting for. They quickly introduce themselves. She asks if she wants some relationship advice. Karen remembers hearing that. She is a certified expert and wants to know if there is a shortcut to reach out. Later, on his way home, Kim starts wondering why Kishimoto is getting so chummy with Karen. They plan to meet up after school for some classic guy talk, so he pushes all that drama aside. To focus on the one thing he does best, pumping iron, he heads to his gym. But the second he opens the door, he notices a pretty different vibe. Everyone is lifting like mad, as if trying to smash their personal records. Did something happen? Right then, a very familiar voice calls out his name. He turns around to see Fuma looking absolutely gorgeous in her gym clothes. But what is she doing in a guy's gym? Kim introduces himself again, and Fuma quietly asks if club practice was not enough of a workout for him. Kim gives an awkward smile and quickly notices what is actually going on. Everyone is showing off, lifting heavy to impress her, which totally makes sense. She is the ultimate dream girl for any gym bro. Kim asks if she lives nearby, and she mentions she just moved in. Suddenly, the gym director approaches. The boss is clearly one of those old, ridiculously buff guys who could wreck you. He tells Kim to show Fuma the ropes, noting that since they are classmates, it makes more sense for him to guide her than a dusty old man. This beefy old director is not just a lifter, he is also a god-tier wingman. Telling Kim she came to this gym because she is interested in him. Next up, at the squat rack, Grandpa proves his wingman status again by telling Kim to squat 220 kilograms. Fuma doubts that is even humanly possible. But for our boy, this weight is just a light warm-up, the boss calls him a monster, as Kim easily squats 220, then 270 kilograms. And finally 300, the boss just laughs, asking if he is related to Yujiro. Hanma. Fuma is completely stunned, realizing his body is definitely not normal. For a high school student, he is a total beast with a mythical build, namely the extreme yang physique, a rare constitution with the strength of 100. Men. Legend has it that figures like Hercules, Arcules, Chuck Norris, and Andrew Tate possessed this exact physique, which might explain why she lost to him. In their fight, despite his complete lack of martial arts training, she resolves to send a report about this to a mysterious contact. Later, Kim and Kishimoto reach Karen's house, finding a crowd of Yakuza members bowing to her. He never expected her to actually be in a Yakuza family, but that is typical Isekai logic. One gangster glares at Kim, immediately sensing a threat, and yells out for everyone to draw their weapons, suspecting him of being a rival spy. Karen tells them to relax, explaining he is just a normal high schooler who is slightly obsessed with working out and apologizes for the guard's behavior. Kim does not mind. Now the girls are ready to start a cooking showdown. After all, the way to a guy's heart is through his stomach. Karen, who has never cooked in her life, stares at an onion like it might attack her. Sensing danger, Love Guru Kishimoto tells the guards to flee. He tells Karen to get to work. An hour passes and she finally completes a perfectly made bento box, thanks to Kishimoto coaching her through the whole process. She hears Gordon Ramsay screaming, scolding her for keeping the heat way too high and burning that poor steak into a chunk of toxic sludge. All this cooking makes Kishimoto pretty hungry, so Kim decides to whip up a little something for them. He whips up a simple stir-fry, but the second they eat, they start blushing hard. Kim explains his secret. He started packing his own lunches after seeing his mom struggle to wake up at dawn. Just to make his lunch, he was pretty clumsy at first, but eventually got the hang of it. Hearing this, Kishimoto is moved to tears. He is just a wholesome son helping his hardworking mom. Talk about total husband material right here. He is incredibly smart. Kind and otaku, a massive jock, and some kind of muscular anomaly who can actually cook. Honestly, this guy is rarer than an art major with a stable 9-to-5 job. Next, Kishimoto hands Karen a special gift filled with products she bought from the cosmetics store. It is officially makeover time, and they are even going clothes shopping together. Karen wonders if all of this is really necessary, but Kishimoto sets her straight. Guys are not into tomboys dressing like old men anymore. Kim just chuckles nervously. The girls head off, ready to start the big transformation. Later that night, Kim walks Kishimoto home, stopping by a quick convenience store to grab some of this week's manga. Our boy grabs a copy of Two-Piece, Adventures of Fluffy as a Marine Soldier. As they happily chat about their favorite series, Kim looks at Kishimoto and says that she is a truly wonderful person. That instantly makes her blush quite a bit. She did spend her entire day helping Karen after all, but now she starts turning bright red until she suddenly bolts. Our main character, being incredibly dense, assumes she just had an urgent call of nature. The very next day, everyone completely freezes when they lay eyes on Karen's mind-blowing transformation. She goes straight from a rough hooligan to a total homecoming queen. She heads over to Class 2, handing a special invitation to Ryuji, but the guy does not even recognize her. Meanwhile, flashback to Shibuya, where the girls are having absolute fun with the makeover process. They are just glad Karen went through with her confession. They even start using first names now, leaving poor Kim wondering why he was forced to tag along. A bit earlier, Kishimoto actually asked him to pick out a nice outfit for her to try on. He ended up selecting a pretty adorable look. She was quickly shoved into the changing room by Kishimoto, despite protesting that cute styles just are not her thing. Kishimoto insisted that she absolutely had to wear this to win Ryuji's heart. She finally steps out in a gorgeous maid outfit, feeling like everything is way too short. Both of them praise her look, making her blush. Meanwhile, back at the massive mansion, the fierce Yakuza boss stands with his loyal delinquents. This chairman, who is also Karen's father, is known as the Bloodbath Tycoon. He is currently furious that his precious little daughter has actually found a boy she likes. His men are equally outraged. What kind of worthless punk is she hanging around with? The furious chairman yells out that he is never giving his beloved daughter away to anyone. He orders his top man to find out exactly who this boy is. 13. The screen displays a video of Ryuji, an academy student. Because of this guy, his daughter is suddenly visiting hair salons and buying dresses. She is doing things she never once did before. 14. The chairman deduces she is planning a date with Ryuji this upcoming weekend. He is so furious he wants to chop this little punk's weenie off. His fellow criminals quickly step in, desperately telling their furious boss to cool down. His jets, he orders everyone who is off duty this weekend to. If that kid tries anything, well, he's going to lose a very important part of himself. That is how the chairman of a massive criminal organization decided to shadow her. He is mobilizing an entire executive syndicate just to spy on her. Meanwhile, Kishimoto and the crew are hanging out at a burger joint. As they eat, Karen asks if they are completely exhausted from all the shopping. Kishimoto is just happy they got to hang out together and had a total blast. Karen then turns to Kim and asks if he wants another round of burgers. A big guy like him needs his fuel, and hey, it is on her. He says he is fine, admitting he prefers rice over bread anyway. No point in stuffing himself with empty carbs, but she still insists on buying him more. It is the least she can do, making him realize she is actually quite sweet. She is not some wild tomboy, she is a genuinely caring person underneath it all. You really cannot judge a book by its cover. Karen gets flustered under his gaze. She nervously asks if there is something on her face, and he nods in agreement. He says it is ketchup. She frantically wipes her cheek, and he laughs at his own joke. They ask about her game plan. She lists the usual movie and dinner routine. But Kishimoto immediately screams that is way too basic. She needs to stand out. They have to hit the aquarium. It is the absolute peak of romance. Imagine the sunlight shining through the water with fish dancing around them. It creates the ultimate vibe while they plan this dream date. And honestly, we all know this self-proclaimed love guru is at it again. Later, Kim and Kishimoto watch her like proud parents, wishing her luck. She promises to do her best and tells them to head home. But Kishimoto instantly begs Kim that they should totally tail her tomorrow. They are comrades in arms and love. They must make sure she succeeds. With everything set, only heaven knows how this date is going to turn out. We have got Yakuza, a muscle-headed beast, and a hyperactive girl tailing them. It is a whole circus stalking them from just feet away. Later, everyone is turning their heads in shock as the chairman struts around in disguise. Let us be real, this whole operation is just an excuse to wear a wig. Ready to witness his daughter's first date, the boss waits as Ryuji pulls up. Greeting Karen, the boy asks how long she's been waiting. Not long, she replies. They immediately lock eyes and turn bright red. It is pretty adorable. He compliments her outfit, and they finally get this show on the road. First, tea and planning. Meanwhile, Kim and Kishimoto are close behind. Both of them wear some of the most suspicious disguises imaginable. They are frantically running around the block to keep pace with the couple. Naturally, the Yakuza crew does the exact same thing, keeping close watch. The chairman wants to fight the kid for making his daughter wait 5 minutes. Executive 1 begs him to calm down before they get reported. To avoid raising suspicion, they need to split into 4 separate teams. The boss agrees and orders the split. Meanwhile, Kishimoto sits in a cafe. She orders a massive parfait and instantly takes a picture for social media. Kim is just highly doubtful she can actually finish that giant thing. He immediately senses something is off. Suspicious guys are everywhere. Kim realizes they are connected to Karen, especially that red-haired punk. Meanwhile, Karen happily suggests that they go see the dolphins. She smiles, totally ready for a fun day, completely oblivious. Unaware that their entire date is being streamed to literal war criminals. Along with one highly energetic blonde girl, when the train starts moving, they are squished. It is totally packed. Kishimoto gets squished right against Kim. Her mind goes into absolute overdrive being this close to him. There is no choice in this crowd. Kim tells her to just bear with him. The doors slide open and the crowd surges. Kim grabs her hand to escape. They push through the rush to follow Karen, finally making it out safely. Kishimoto softly asks Kim to release her hand, and he drops it instantly. She whispers to be gentler next time, leaving him completely and utterly confused. But they miss the crosswalk light. Meanwhile, the gangsters watch them from behind. 2 mobsters wonder who they are while planning their next move. Kim quietly slips away, but the mob boss still spots him. An executive explains those kids are just Karen's helpful friends. The gangsters completely mistake Kim for an elite assassin from a rival family. He is glad Karen has good allies, but they lost her track. Meanwhile, Karen and her date finally reach the beautiful aquarium. Right away, they run into 2 nasty delinquents who recognize Ryuji. It is the guy who got them kicked off the kendo club team. And now he is happily enjoying a date. They vow to make him pay. From a distance, our stalking duo watches closely. How is the date going? It is actually going way better than Kim expected. Relief washes over him. Later, Kim treats Kishimoto to some of his delicious homemade sushi rolls. Her mouth waters instantly, he puts serious effort into making these. Crucial energy is needed if they are going to shadow them properly. She takes a huge bite. Nearby, Karen and Ryuji are sitting down. Kishimoto notices Karen seems really nervous, and Kim completely agrees. This is her first time cooking for a boy, after all. She spent hours planning this menu last night, and all that effort shows. A beautiful bento filled with cute food sits before Ryuji. He takes a bite. Karen holds her breath, nervously waiting for his judgment. It is absolutely amazing, he says. She lets out a massive sigh. Karen happily urges him to try the crispy tempura next. He loves every bite. As she feeds him, Kim keeps his eyes completely glued on them. Kishimoto smiles, wishing she could go on a sweet date like this someday. Kim freezes. This self-proclaimed romance expert has a major secret. She has never actually been on a real date in her entire life. She just laughs, claiming the coach never actually has to play the game. Her entire dating playbook comes from reading trashy rom-com manga. Later, the couple takes a stroll, but that is when trouble strikes. Two ugly thugs confront Ryuji, demanding to know if he remembers them. For a supposedly smooth talker, he is in some deep trouble now. Saving the girl they worked so hard to protect, Kim wonders if he should call the priest or step in himself. Ryuji puts on a brave front as the guys ask if he is planning on hitting them again. These are the first-year freshmen who got kicked out of the kendo club. The guys are pissed that they were expelled from the club just because they thought consent was a myth they will never get to. See Fuma's amazing figure, Karen calls them. Idiots. That attitude is exactly why they got kicked out. They recognize Karen and wonder why she is so dolled up for someone who beats up people into the dirt. This does not suit her. Ryuji yells, that is enough. These idiots do not even know that she is the daughter of a gangster. Soon it is revealed why they are acting so tough. Bigger and uglier guy backs them up, ready to beat Ryuji to pulp. Ryuji tells Karen to run away and leave it to him, but Karen refuses. How can she leave him in a place like this? Big Bro grabs Karen and tells her to have fun with him instead. Ryuji rushes in and tries to punch the bastard only to get socked in the gut. Kim realizes things are turning south, so he has to step in. Meanwhile, Ryuji is on the ground, puking nonstop. Big Bro is still acting tough, completely unaware that he just summoned a giant monster behind him. He turns to see the giant grab his hand, making him scream like a little girl. Big Bro tells him to keep his filthy hands to himself. Kim looks like he is going to educate them in 3 different dialects of violence. He tells the bastards to get their filthy hands off his friend. Big Bro looks like he needs a new pair of pants. Where the hell did this budget Hulk arrive from? He calls Kim a coward. Just because he is built different means he can do whatever he wants, but right now Kim is not in the mood for philosophies, just for a little skull crushing. Even Big Bro wonders what he did to build a physique like that. Bench press Mjolnir. He tries to calm himself. It was only a sneak attack. He is just a big goofball with muscles and no moves. The cartel, on the other hand, asked the chairman if they should move in, but the chairman stops them. Few minutes ago, Executive 1 asked him if they should intervene. The kids were getting in trouble with a pair of delinquents, while the chairman was off to the army with his red hair blowing in the wind. The executives were losing their minds about Karen being manhandled. The chairman decided there was no need to intervene once Kim set foot in the scuffle. One look at Kim made the chairman lose his confidence and almost his bowel control. The overwhelming aura is something he felt only from 2 people, one Yujiro Hanma, and the other the Russian Red Mafia boss, Ivan the God of Destruction. It is the same feeling he is getting from Kim when he faced him one-on-one. With the old gangster, a wave of terror washed over him. How can a nobody have the same kind of presence that makes the chairman want Kim by his side? Even more, meanwhile, Kim is completely losing his mind to absolute rage. Screw the storyline. Screw the original plot and screw these losers. He decides to stop caring from now on and take things into his own hands. When the trash starts talking too loud, he tells Ryuji and Karen to get out of here. Karen, with tearful eyes, asks if he is going to be okay. Big Bro yells at him for ignoring him. He unleashes a wild flurry of punches, making the other guys think Kim is finally going down. Big Bro smiles like he has already won the fight, telling Kim he will not even have time to dodge. But here is the thing. Big Bro should really change his name to Pillow Hands. He basically just gave Kim the absolute best massage of his entire life. The man did not even flinch. Big Bro tries using some crazy anime special move, letting loose a burning hot fist. That slams right into Kim's jaw. Kishimoto holds her breath while Karen screams. Ryuji watches in a daze. Honestly, that hit only managed to tickle Kim. Drawing just a tiny bit of blood, but Kim is laughing. Now it is self-defense. Big Bro only gets a split-second look at a giant fist flying at his face. Before his entire world goes black, Kim is about to give him a free dentist visit. Courtesy of some brutal cosmetic surgery. Usually, self-defense only allows one hit. Which is why Kim puts him to sleep with one single punch. The others rush over, desperately trying to shake Big Bro awake, but he is out cold. They scream. Like absolute cowards the moment they look back at Kim, blood drips down his forehead. And his voice is pure venom. Immediately, the punks start whining about their rich, powerful daddies in the police and government, but Kim does not care about their families. Right now, he is the only daddy they should worry about. He grabs their heads, lifting them off the ground to teach them a very painful lesson. Afterward, he tosses them aside, battered and bruised, and they scramble to drag Big Bro away. Kishimoto runs up to Kim, frantically asking if he is okay. He is bleeding. But since his head is basically hollow anyway, it does not even hurt him. He jokes that some spit will fix it, but Kishimoto yells at him, insisting they get to a pharmacy. He has never seen her this mad. Later, they find Karen and Ryuji sitting on a bench, looking incredibly awkward. Karen apologizes for getting him hurt, but Ryuji says it is fine. It was his fault. They got dragged into this. Taking a deep breath, Karen finally confesses her love. Ryuji freezes. Everything stops. Kim and Kishimoto hold their breath as Karen asks, can they go out? Will Ryuji actually break the mold and date this sweet girl? Or will his past keep holding him back? Let us see how it plays out. Tears well up in Karen's eyes as she begs him. Ryuji is torn. But he finally tells her he is sorry. He cannot give her what she wants. Karen desperately promises she will change. She will be whatever he wants. But Ryuji gently stops her. He explains that she is far too good for a guy like him, and honestly she is, but Ryuji has his own secrets. Years ago, he promised a girl he would marry her when they grew up. And until they reunite, he refuses to date anyone else. He is rejecting her. For a ghost from his past, that does not sound romantic, it just sounds tragic. Karen feels her entire world fall apart. Ryuji can only look away apologetically. She quietly asks if he really loves this mystery girl that much. He admits. He is not even sure anymore. He just remembers she was his very first love. Karen understands, gathers herself, and decides to leave quietly without causing a scene. Ryuji watches guiltily as she runs off. Kishimoto feels awful watching this. Kim tells her to go on ahead without him. He plans to check on Karen first. Kishimoto sighs, wondering how this ends. With him, why is he so sad? Meanwhile, Karen sits on a bench replaying her rejection over and over again. Tears fill her eyes. She looks at Kim, who wipes them away and even helps her blow her nose. He tries to calm her, but it is too embarrassing because she has never cried in front of anyone. Kim tells her it is fine since they are friends after all. Turns out Karen already knew they were tailing her, maybe because they did not really trust her or. Kim starts sweating more than a heavy guy walking from his seat to the buffet table. Spies in romantic comedies are not supposed to get caught, so why did this happen? Karen just smiles, thanking them for coaching her and apologizing for still failing. She thought she could change herself and win Ryuji's heart, but she was wrong. His heart was already a stone wall she tried to squeeze into. It hurts like hell, and there is nothing she can do about it. Kim feels horrible hearing how much she really loved him. He understands her. Poor redhead, the girl he liked also liked a guy who was better than him. Kim feels strange. He really thought of her like a minor background character, but as he gets to know them, his entire worldview is shifting. Kishimoto was just a polite smile, but now that he knows her, she is much more to him. They were characters in a manga, but now they are real people, hurting, living, and smiling. He gets up and tells Karen that if she lies around here and keeps on crying, someone will call the cops. She bursts out laughing because the joke worked. She then starts pulling off his shirt, revealing those rock-hard abs. He hands her the sweatshirt, puts it on her, and says they are going to a karaoke bar where she can scream out everything she has to say. Karen, looking like a toddler in his giant sweatshirt, tells him to wait up. They run toward the karaoke bar, and Karen's spirits once again are as high as her Hopes and dreams. The Yakuza who witnessed this all are moved to tears. And call Kim one in a million. Even the chairman smiles, glad his daughter has a friend like him, hoping they can cross paths someday. Later on, Karen screams into the karaoke machine all night long. Kishimoto's eyes sparkle as she looks around Kim's room, which has better gym equipment than Planet Fitness. It is filled with barbells, kettlebells, and heavy dumbbells. She wonders if all guys keep workout gear in their room. Definitely not all of them, only those who look like they worked on construction sites for 50 years like our boy. She notices a dumbbell and cutely tries to pick it up, but it won't even budge. Kim tells her that it is just his warm-up weight and is half her weight. So of course, but how did he end up with a girl in his room? It started when he was walking to the subway after school. All of a sudden, Kishimoto felt her stomach growl, so he offered to swing by his family restaurant. After all, a single free meal should not set him back, or so he thought. She ate right after her hard training session and finished off with cola, complimenting Kim's mother on her amazing cooking, while his mom told her to eat as much as she wanted, promising to make even more. Kim is surprised that his mother has taken such a liking to her. Kishimoto pats his shoulder, telling him it is time. Kim splutters in confusion, wondering what she is talking about. She laughs, saying they still have time to go to his room. Is he finally going to? Hoping to find someone worthy of his Mjolnir. Well, she didn't care. She wasn't interested in his hammer at all, just his room. He brings some iced tea, only to find her already reading his manga. He actually bought those rom-coms for research. It wasn't his usual style, but he wanted to understand how these stories work. She always figured he only liked shonen, so this is quite a big surprise. She had no idea he was into romance. Suddenly, she spots a series called Golden Samurai. That's his absolute favorite. He proudly hands over his rare, limited edition copy. This series is a masterpiece. Incredible art, breathtaking story, and amazing characters. Kishimoto looks at it and is almost ready to cry tears of pure joy. She's never met anyone who loves it this much except her father. Kim wonders about her dad. Why would a grown man love manga? Turns out, her father is actually a famous creator. He wrote Golden Samurai. Hearing this, Kim looks like he's about to pass out. There's no way her dad is Kishimoto Musashi, the legendary author, but then he realizes they share the same name and that bright blonde hair. He even went to her house recently. He was right there and missed his chance to meet his idol. Kim instantly begs for an autograph. She happily promises to introduce them the next time he visits her place. He is definitely going now, but he is also a little confused. Her dad has written so many massive hits, so why is this specific one her favorite? She thinks it over. She likes his other works, but Golden Samurai is different. It really speaks to her. The main character is blonde, just like she is. Plus, he always puts his friends first. Honestly, Kim reminded her of that hero, especially when he stood up to those delinquents and finally stopped Big Bro. He's strong but so gentle. She smiles, and her feelings might be shifting. Love is definitely in the air. The next day, school is back in session. During a student council meeting, Kumiko reminds Kim about his promise to help her. They need to welcome a new exchange student, arriving all the way from Russia. She has to pick out a memorable gift and really wants his help with it. She is practically beaming, hoping this little shopping trip brings them closer together. Kim happily agrees to meet on the 29th, and her eyes absolutely light up. Her eyes sparkle brighter than a kid who just got the exact toy they wanted. Kim is glad to help out, as long as it doesn't mess with his other plans. He absolutely cannot miss his big meeting with the legendary author. She warns him not to break his promise or she will never forgive him. Still, she is incredibly happy. Kim decides to ask Kishimoto to move their meeting to the 30th, a month passes, and his friend asks if he heard about those two troublemakers from school. They got kicked out of the kendo club and are actually transferring to another school. They are leaving immediately, and everyone is wondering what caused such a sudden move. Our boy just laughs. Nobody knows he is the one behind it all. He is the one who scared them so badly they had to run away. At least they learned their lesson and will not be bothering anyone else again. Right as class begins, a cheerful voice asks why everyone is running so late. A gorgeous new teacher tells the students to take their seats right now. She instructs everyone to open their English textbooks. Honestly, with a teacher like her, anyone would pay close attention. Kim quickly wakes up Kishimoto, who is probably dreaming. Having some rather interesting dreams, this gorgeous new teacher is 24-year-old Mizuki. She asks Kim's friend to read an English passage. The poor guy looks like he's just been hit by the worst curse in history, but when the teacher changes her mind and calls on Kim, his buddy sighs with relief as Kim stands up to read. He speaks in flawless, perfect English, shocking the entire class. Even Mizuki is left stunned. She totally wanted to humiliate the big guy, poor teacher. Doesn't know that Kim is a jack of all trades and master of absolutely everything. She tries throwing a harder question his way, but Kim simply strokes his chin and answers in flawless English. The teacher looks like she saw a literal ghost. Class, sit down. That was a great answer. Kishimoto never realized her giant friend was this brilliant at English, but his fluent answers completely throw the teacher off her game. Now she's stuttering, avoiding eye contact, and sweating while writing. Kim finally realizes what is up. Sensei is absolutely terrified of him. Later, walking down the hallway, students whisper about his massive, scary build. He starts to wonder who started those ridiculous rumors about him being Yakuza or fighting 50 to 1. It is the first time he has seen an actual adult this terrified of him. He decides to act normal. He wants to avoid any more misunderstandings. Meanwhile, Mizuki is typing furiously on her computer, digging up every single record she can find on Kim. To her absolute shock, he's a top-tier scholarship student who never misses a day of class. He even holds a major spot on the student council. She was convinced she'd uncover some dark criminal record. Instead, she cooks up a wild conspiracy theory that Kim received elite training from a shadow syndicate and is just pretending to be a good student to fool her. Suddenly, a dark presence fills her office. With that intense look on his face, he is definitely not beating the scary mob boss allegations. The moment she spots Kim, she slams her computer shut, moving faster than a teenager trying to hide a sketchy browser tab when her parents suddenly walk into the room. Panicked, she stutters to him that she wasn't digging into his secret past. He didn't even accuse her. She stares at his cold, stone face. Game over. Her life is finished. He is going to make her vanish, but surprise, our main guy is just a polite, helpful student arriving for his career counseling. Honestly, the only job he seems fit for is a literal god of destruction or an absolute supervillain. The teacher chuckles nervously, offering him a seat to discuss his plans for the future. Kim is not sure, but admits he is thinking about the family business. Instantly, Mizuki's wild imagination goes into overdrive. Is he taking over criminal empire? Enough nonsense. Our giant boy is actually harmless. But she keeps picturing him covered in scars and gold chains. When she asks, he explains it is just a tiny noodle shop. Relieved, she says she wants to visit one day, finally putting her worries to rest. She then asks about his favorite classes, which are math and science. She wonders if he is planning to go into engineering, but Kim refuses to pick a path simply because he's currently good at those subjects. He wants to pursue a career he actually enjoys. In his past life, he studied at the prestigious University of Waterloo, but severe post-traumatic stress disorder made him realize he's never going. The professor admits that she actually never wanted to be a teacher. Back then, she really wanted to voice a popular robot manga character. But during a counseling session, she finally admitted her voice acting dream. Her old teacher brutally crushed that dream and told her straight up, hobbies do not put food on the table, so she needed a stable career. Honestly, anyone with an arts degree is probably crying at that advice. But Mizuki still blames that teacher for holding her back from stardom. She has thought about it for years and now tells Kim directly he can chase whatever dream he wants, and she will fully support him. Kim thanks her and walks out, but another teacher is watching closely. Green with envy, he brings up the rumors of Kim's wild hair. He even mentions the biker gang gossip, but Mizuki has had enough. Kim is actually a sweet student, and she refuses to judge him. The jealous coworker laughs it off while she just smiles back. The Golden League arrives, and Kim waits outside Shine for his date. Kumiko finally shows up and immediately starts chewing him out for being late. Does he even know what time it is? Knowing his brain cells, it is a miracle. He didn't yell adventure time, telling Kumiko they are still 10 minutes early. But Kumiko looks like she is ready to yell and cry at once. She fumes that when meeting a lady, a guy must show up 30 minutes early. He apologizes, asking if they should have just met 30 minutes earlier. Kumiko decides to forgive him, but he has to make it up. She demands some green tea ice cream as an apology, which is news to him. One giant bruise on his head later, he quickly buys her the treat. As they eat, he mentions he is just glad they can walk together. But they need to find a gift, which Kumiko completely forgot about. A voice in her earpiece warns her about a nearby craft shop. She is told there is a nice shop just a few blocks away. It turns out she has agents in black feeding her advice from a van. The entire Akagi family is working overtime to make this date succeed. They visit a shrine, but the expensive statue prices give Kim a shock. The voice in her earpiece tells her to drop the rich kid act immediately. She is looking at fancy art, while poor Kim is completely bored out of his mind. He is staring at his phone so hard, he might burn a hole through it. Seeing this, she quickly switches up her dating tactics. She grabs his hand and runs out, leaving the shopkeeper shouting behind them. He offered a major discount, but she just ignores him and keeps running. Kim asks if she is all right, and she claims she is just dizzy. Next, they check out a traditional Japanese robe shop for a gift. The voice in her ear tells her to go ahead, so she starts browsing. Kim is not very impressed, wondering if an exchange student would even like this. The owner brings out a gorgeous kimono worth 500,000 yen. That is more money than Kim has ever seen, but it's pocket change to her. They browse through outfits, but Kumiko still has a hard time choosing. The owner suggests she try one on first, since it is a special gift. She might as well try one on since it is a gift. Kumiko asks Kim what he thinks and Kim tells her to go ahead. She's quickly escorted to the changing room and the shop owner is actually Akagi's sister. She used a realistic silicone mask in her ninja skills to switch places with the real owner and run the boutique. Telling her to try on the kimono was a total wingman move. They are short on time, so she needs to get dressed and look as beautiful as possible. After a bit of rustling behind the curtain, Kim looks up from his phone and blushes. Furiously, Kumiko steps out looking absolutely breathtaking in her elegant black robes. Kim is so completely stunned that he looks away shyly, but Kumiko takes it as rejection. She quickly stammered that she thought the outfit was beautiful and suited her. Well, Kumiko tries to play it cool, claiming this is just what happens when she is serious. She quickly bolts back into the changing room, her heart pounding. Wildly, it feels like a swarm of butterflies is having a brutal cage match in her stomach. What should she do now? Kim leads Kumiko out of the store and passersby are completely mesmerized by her striking looks. Now that they have done some shopping and grabbed food, it is time to leave. They are drawing way too much attention. Kim is built like an absolute tank, while Kumiko is as stunning as a cherry blossom in full bloom. He also spots the Akagi siblings a few feet away pretending to take a selfie. In reality, they are spying on him. He almost catches them, and his sister reminds Akagi that they need to submit a report and cannot send sloppy photos. Akagi grumbles that Kim is way too slippery, and there is no way their lady actually likes him. They still have to stay out of sight. Kim finally approaches a restaurant, which turns out to be a local ramen shop. He tells her to look at the menu while he slips away for a quick bathroom break. Meanwhile, the Akagi siblings are dealing with their own urgent emergency. Akagi desperately needs a restroom. That ice cream is not sitting well and he has to go. Before disaster strikes, he apologizes to his sister and bolts straight for the bathroom. As soon as he is finally finished, he comes face to face with Kim and screams his name. 10 minutes later, Kumiko watches both of her bodyguards being dragged out of the restroom by Kim, who thinks it is a funny coincidence and invites them to join them for lunch. With her date ruined by her own security detail, Kumiko has no choice but to smile through the pain. Everyone sits down together while Akagi's sister apologizes for her foolish brother's bathroom emergency. Kumiko is not upset and the steaming ramen is finally served. It is her first time having ramen, though she has seen it on TV. Akagi's sister patiently explains how to eat. She takes a bite and absolutely loves it. Kim is glad she is enjoying it, and they order more and eat to their heart's content. Later, Kumiko is trying to win a plushie that looks incredibly muscular from a claw machine. By now, it is obvious she has a type. She thinks the buff toy is adorable. Meanwhile, Akagi and Kim are having a heated fighting game match where Akagi is completely sweeping the floor. Kim is furious. How dare he mock him? But Akagi keeps his cool, only to be brutally defeated in the very next round. Kim laughs smugly, asking how it feels to face a grandmaster. Akagi immediately challenges him to one more match. But forget arcades, they are grown men and should not be playing with joysticks, so they decide to settle things with a punching machine. Kim wonders if. That seems like a bad idea. Hiro looks like a total stick figure under those baggy clothes. Is this even fair? But Akagi unbuttons his shirt, revealing the ultimate sleeper build. He is a lean, mean punching machine with rock-hard abs, leaving the girls utterly confused. But Kim is actually getting excited, and Akagi warns him not to disappoint him now. Akagi tosses his glasses aside to show off his physique, mocking Kim for being a runner. He smiles, taunting the guy for being a weakling who always flees from a fight. Kim is told to watch closely and learn how real men actually throw a punch. With a massive swing, he rattles the entire machine, scoring 960 points. That would be pretty impressive if he were not standing next to a literal mountain. Now it is Kim's turn. He silently begs the president to step in and stop this. But she is actually pretty curious to see what happens if he goes all out. He even offers to pay for the machine if it breaks. He just wants an out. With no other escape, he finally cracks his knuckles. Honestly, the score is not the issue. The real worry is that the entire machine might just turn into dust from his punch. He stares at the setup, wondering if a bunch of metal can actually feel fear. But there is no turning back now. If it has to break, he will make it clean. Channeling all his focus and raw power directly into his fist, he prepares. He unleashes a jab so intense that Akagi instantly loses all his swagger. The frame groans as deep cracks spread across the base, yet the score is 0. Both the president and her assistant wonder if he is just playing around. In reality, his aim was completely off, and he hit the solid metal bar instead. On the bright side, they will never know his true strength, or so he happily hopes. That is, until the machine falls apart, and a nervous Akagi puts his glasses back on. He nervously tells Kim they should wrap it up, but Kim is planning his revenge. To save the memory, Kim suggests they take some cute sticker photos. Everyone gets excited and piles into the booth, throwing on ridiculous props and costumes. Both Akagi and the president are secretly thrilled they decided to join the fun. The president flashes a genuine smile for the first time in years, and Kim smiles back. They decide to hit a karaoke bar next, where Akagi suddenly goes full metal rockstar. He is absolutely screaming. Then Kumiko sings with an angelic voice that calms everyone down, and Kim joins her. They deliver a perfect duet, wrapping up a truly wonderful day for the happy president. She bids Kim farewell, while the Adachi siblings are busy worrying themselves half to death. They apologize to her ladyship for ruining her date by getting so carried away. Getting completely caught up in the moment, they just had too much fun. Kumiko just laughs, telling them it is fine because she honestly enjoyed herself. For someone raised in a strict, elite family, today felt like a total dream. Eating ice cream, grabbing ramen, shopping, and posing for those silly sticker pictures. It has been years since she last felt this happy, probably since they were kids. She warmly thanks them for sticking by her side and promises to always appreciate them. Hearing this, the Akagi twins are instantly moved to tears by her sweet words. They vow to serve her forever and make absolutely sure her next date is perfect. A total success. Meanwhile, a mysterious man sits in his studio drawing manga. Kishimoto calls out to him, reminding her dad about the friend visiting tomorrow. She knows he is incredibly busy, but she really hopes he can make some time. She wants him to make time, and the man just smiles, looking forward to this visit. To the friend she has been talking about nonstop for the past few days. With Kishimoto Sr. joining the fray, how will this first meeting go? How exactly does a legendary manga creator handle a massive, muscle-headed otaku? On the second day of Golden Week, Kim arrives at the house, sweating bullets. He is more nervous than a cave diver squeezed into a tight crevice. Squeezing through a tiny 2-centimeter crack, Kim bows deeply, shouting how honored he is. The older man just laughs, noting that he looks exactly like a shonen protagonist. Just like his daughter promised, meanwhile, Kim is still completely starstruck. He cannot believe he is standing before the legend who created entire worlds. With just a stroke of his pen, the father invites him in, mentioning his wife. She prepared a massive feast, and their daughter helped set everything up. 2 gorgeous blondes are waiting, telling the men to eat before the food gets cold. The spread is incredible, featuring juicy ribeye steaks and hot Italian pizza. He gives his thanks, while Kishimoto's dad admits he wanted to meet this guy. The young man his daughter talks about constantly, he had to see for himself. Who is getting close to his daughter, Kim freezes, talk about a tense moment. The air gets incredibly heavy as Kim stammers that they are just normal friends. Just regular classmates, and he only helped her because she got lost one day. Kishimoto Jr. blushes, yelling at her father to show some actual restraint. But as a protective father, he admits he worries about guys with bad intentions. Getting too close to his gorgeous daughter, surprisingly, Kim actually understands. He imagines raising a daughter as adorable as Kishimoto one day, and realizes he would absolutely thrash any punk who tried to date her. Lost in thought, he accidentally stares at Kishimoto a little too long. She blushes, quickly looking away while her father grins at the awkwardness. Mother steps in, gently reminding her husband that their girl is grown up. And he needs to relax. Still, he fondly remembers when she was tiny. A sweet little kid who called him Papa and promised to marry him someday. Now she brings home a 300-pound muscle gorilla who is supposedly just a friend. Soon the conversation shifts to manga, and the artist offers a studio tour. Right after dinner, this becomes a literal dream come true for Kim. He visits the legendary workspace, grinning ear to ear on his way back out. Not only did he see the studio, he even scored a personal autograph. She smiles at his excitement, and they head upstairs to her cute room. It is packed to the brim with manga, totally blowing Kim away. As he reaches for a volume, she quickly warns him not to touch anything. She steps out for a second, leaving him to play phone games on the floor. That is exactly when Kishimoto's mother quietly slips into the room. She insists he call her Maria, making our boy wonder what she wants. It turns out she is here to expose her daughter's deep, dark past. A childhood photo album. Kim nervously wonders if he should even be looking. Flipping through the photos, he discovers she used to be a heavy cosplayer. The daughter of a famous artist was bound to inherit the cringe gene. Maria happily shows off her daughter's old, embarrassingly edgy goth girl phase. Kishimoto stares at the old photo in horror. She screams at her mother. Telling her to get out, frantically, she tries to explain. That was just a mistake from her cringy middle school emo phase, but Maria just laughs, leaving the two of them to sort out the awkward mess. Kim feels bad. He tries to comfort her by sharing his own 8th grade disasters. He reveals he was pretty bad back then, pulling up an old photo. Apparently, he was a total emo kid back then, fake tattoos and chokers. He even rambled about some sealed dark dragon power. Kishimoto is stunned. How did this scrawny kid become such a mountain of a man? He just smiles. He hated being a weak stick, so he started lifting heavy before high school. She laughs, wondering how things would be if she had transferred 2 years earlier. Kishimoto looks at Kim, asking if she dislikes his current self. She stutters, trying to explain that she really likes him now, but quickly catches her own breath. Making the awkwardness shoot up 10 degrees, they freeze. He asks what she meant, and she squeaks out that she meant as a friend. Crisis averted. He completely buys it, and they laugh it off while dying inside. Still, he thanks her for the invite and the signed autograph. Kishimoto smiles. It is just payback for him helping her adjust ever since she transferred. He is always welcome back. Kim promises to visit, but it is time to go. She asks about his plans, mentioning her own upcoming family vacation. He tells her to travel safe and to call if anything happens. She giggles. How is he going to reach her in Hawaii? Swim. With his monstrous physique, that actually does not sound completely impossible. He jokes that he would probably have to break into his savings for a plane ticket. When a handsome guy cracks a lame joke, the gorgeous girl laughs immediately. Meanwhile, some of us get HR complaints. Life is not fair. They wave goodbye. And he promises to see her at school. Suddenly, she feels lonely. She remembers how it all started, back when they lived just 2 stops apart. She remembers stealing his sushi and making him try her food. They tried out sports clubs together, and on that crowded bus she was pressed right against his massive, warm chest. He was always so kind. Looking at this gentle giant, she cannot help but smile. Golden Week arrives. It is day 5. Kim has bought all the manga he wanted. He thinks about getting some food or heading to his favorite ramen spot. Suddenly, a loud, panicked voice screams at him to watch out. He turns around. A blue-haired girl is literally flying through the air, giving him a direct, completely unobstructed view of her legs and white underwear. Talk about an unexpected sight. Too bad he only has 5 seconds before she knees him directly in the face, nursing a bloody nose. He wonders why girls are flying around the city in their undies. He somehow catches her in his arms, but she just scowls. A large pack of incredibly angry thugs is currently chasing after her. She warns him that there is absolutely no time to explain. They must run. But they are heading right into a dead end. Time for Kim to step up. They duck into a quiet ramen shop just as the goons march past. Panting, the gorgeous girl thanks him for saving her life, but Kim isn't. Thrilled about playing the hero, she introduces herself as Sasha. Shocked to learn he isn't Japanese, he tries to ask why. These suited thugs are after her, but she completely dodges the question. It is the ultimate dodge. Completely fed up with her games, Kim decides to walk away, but she insists that as the classic damsel in distress, he has to help her. No questions asked. Too bad Kim believes in equal rights, that is, until she pulls out a massive stack of cash as a reward. Instantly, he changes his tune and becomes her bodyguard. Showing off her blue hair, she explains that her father is incredibly powerful in Russia and people want her for ransom. Talk about a major twist. This girl is actually a main heroine. From his favorite manga, Sasha Alec, Kim knows her from Scramble Love. Specifically the fifth heroine, she quickly changes into a gorgeous outfit. That could make anyone risk it all. She asks how she looks and he notes it's practical for fighting. All he has to do is protect her until 7 p.m. From a literal army of bloodthirsty agents to get paid. Sounds easy, right? Kim asks if she's truly all right, but she promises to handle the fallout later. And immediately starts asking about local sightseeing spots. Kim is totally flabbergasted. Who goes sightseeing while being hunted by professional kidnappers? This girl has absolute nerves of steel. She argues that crowded public spots are safer. Because the goons won't risk a scene. Her real name is Alexandra. Though everyone calls her Sasha, in the original story she was supposed to meet the main character Ryuji, but bumped into Kim instead. Perhaps this is a prequel side quest, but the mob chase makes no sense. He initially wanted to lecture her about trying to buy his help with money, but once those thick stacks of cash appeared, all his morals vanished. After all, a very wise man once said that money solves every single problem. Kim sighs, realizing they have to survive 6 whole hours, while Sasha is having a blast. She clearly knew what she was doing when picking him. She knows he's strong enough to survive. They start moving to avoid being spotted. But sure enough, a horde of suited agents floods the area. They bolt. But an elite thug blocks their path and throws a heavy punch. Kim blocks, using his momentum to spin around and deliver a brutal counter. Then he lifts the massive guy over his head like a child and throws him, crashing several meters away. That spectacular display makes the entire crowd freeze. He shoves Sasha into a nearby phone booth, locking her safely inside. These guys are way tougher than the cheap punks he usually fights. Luckily, he speaks 5 different dialects of pure violence. This silly rom-com is turning into a total action movie. He sweeps through the mob effortlessly until a massive brute slams directly into his shoulder, knocking the wind right out of him. Meet the captain of the night watch, Boris. Kim is stunned. This guy actually managed to land a solid hit and knock him back. He wonders if sheer strength is enough against him. Even Sasha looks worried, knowing Boris has never lost a fight in his life. Except for one man. Kim just sighs, knowing this payout was too good to be true. It looks like he has to earn his keep. Gritting his teeth, he gets ready and charges straight at Boris, ready to gouge his eyes out. He slams the balding man into the hard asphalt. Boris struggles, grabs his arm and flings him into a tight armlock. Boris smiles with satisfaction, but he has no idea that our boy can lift him like a 150-pound trophy. Kim is incredibly furious that this punk tried to lock his joints. He slams Boris into the asphalt once again, knocking him out cold and shocking everyone into dead silence. Kim yells that the joint lock could have caused a serious shoulder injury. Would he have taken responsibility if he could not go to the gym and lost his massive muscles? Sasha cannot believe the guy is actually crying over a workout, but how can he be so ridiculously strong? The gang calls their warehouse contact to report that Captain Boris is completely defeated. There is no martial artist in Japan capable of taking down their captain, yet this 99-year-old Asian man, built like a truck, did it effortlessly. The boss wonders if the legendary Black Yaksha is responsible for taking down his captain. This piques his interest, and what will this Russian mobster do when he learns that there is no Black Yaksha behind his captain's total defeat? The entire underground forum is now flooded with hype about Black Yaksha making a comeback. Some have even gotten news from the electronic security team that he is back. His last reported fight was in Akihabara, and wild rumors are sweeping across Tokyo. Fuma is digging through the forums, trying to find any clue if Black Yaksha is truly back. This mysterious figure is as unbelievably strong as Zeus. Everyone wonders why he vanished when the world needed him the most. He was the ultimate mercenary of the underworld, Ivan the Russian. Mob's absolute strongest warrior wanted a worthy opponent. He held the first god of fist tournament in 1999 for all the veterans to enter. Through the countless fighters he faced, none were a threat until Fuma Kataro, known as Black Yaksha, burst onto the scene. Although he only entered this tournament once, he dominated the finals and became a legend, forever remembered across the entire underworld. But to young Fuma, it is more than just some story. She trails off as she puts on her jacket, searching for any clues about the elusive Black Yaksha. After all, that is her father. Meanwhile, our boy visits every otaku's dream destination, a maid cafe. Sasha really wanted to check it out, leaving Kim clutching his head in pain. Did they seriously have to visit a maid cafe of all places? Possible. She just smiles. It is Japan after all. They get seated and handed a cute pink menu. Sasha is way more interested in how he thrashed those thugs. Kim is still questioning his life choices after accepting that advanced payment. He finds it incredibly weird that the street fight was not uploaded online yet. Surely some random bystander would have posted the video by now. Well, it turns out company agents carry EMP jammers to instantly fry all electronic devices. Double E Company is a massive Russian weapons corporation. Kim is way more interested in knowing why a giant like that would try to kidnap a regular girl. She quietly whispers she is the child of someone holding an incredibly high position. The maid waiter finally arrives with their food, with every single sentence ending in a cute meow. Our boy feels his heart stopping from the sheer cringe. The culture shock is all too real. Poor guy. Our main character has no idea what is coming. This is only the beginning. Freshly cooked omelet rice is placed right in front of him. He quickly thanks the waitress, but she stops them, explaining that they have to do a special ritual first. She is talking about a classic cute theme cafe routine. She shapes her hands, making a perfect heart. She tells them to repeat after her to bless the food. Kim almost chokes on his own breath, while Sasha looks completely lost and nervous. She reluctantly plays along anyway, nudging Kim that he has to do it too. His face is burning red, but he forces himself to go through with it. Pure embarrassment. The maid absolutely loves his reaction and tells them to enjoy eating. He is totally exhausted, but the food actually tastes pretty good. Then she returns. She asks how they like it, then offers to play a quick card game. There is a catch. The loser has to wear some fluffy cat ears. Until the next round, the loser must wear the headband and speak like a kitten. Talk about an absolutely terrifying nightmare challenge. Kim desperately wonders if there is any other punishment he can take. Literally anything else would be better, but Sasha just tells him to win. He silently vows to his ancestors that he will win this no matter what. Exactly 5 minutes later, he is sitting there with those fluffy ears on. Total defeat. The girls tease him, insisting he needs to speak up to complete his punishment. He stutters out a plea to play another round, ending it with a meow. He swears he will win next time, but the sun sets and he never wins. Eventually, they leave the cafe with Kim in a pretty terrible mood, apologizing. He is sorry they missed the sightseeing, but Sasha actually had a great time. Suddenly, she stops and confesses something she has been hiding this whole time. Those scary men chasing her are just bodyguards hired by her own wealthy father. She has been playing hide and seek just to explore Japan on her own. She reassures Kim that he can go home now. She will just call them. Our boy thinks he is finally free, but a black helicopter suddenly appears. It zooms right toward them. The mob boss laughs, celebrating his discovery. He leaps straight out of the chopper, landing hard, and confronts Sasha. He calls her a massive headache, but admits she led him straight to his target. Why is this older guy doing crazy stunts when normal dads can barely move? And more importantly, why is he speaking to her so casually right now? The muscular man smirks and reveals he is actually her father, on private business. Sasha immediately begs him, taking all the blame and promising to go home. But that does not seem to matter to this giant powerhouse anymore. Kim stands there, wondering why they are speaking Japanese instead of Russian. Leave it to him to focus on the absolute wrong details. The massive boss explains he is looking for a legendary figure in Tokyo. He is searching for the mysterious black yaksha who suddenly resurfaced. Sasha is confused, asking why such a dangerous figure would show up now. The boss just laughs it off. He insists that her companion is the one. The Japanese guy she hired is the legendary mercenary who vanished 10 years ago. The absolute master of disguise, the legendary Fuma Katero, he points directly. Ivan calls him the Black Yaksha. Kim is totally confused, maybe an Asian Yaksha. But definitely not a Black Yaksha, yet Ivan still insists he is. The old man needs to settle a score from 18 years ago, but looking closer, Ivan finally realizes this kid is barely 18 himself. No way did he fight. All those years ago, Ivan asks if he knows Fuma Katero, but Kim has no clue. It is only his first day here. A pretty awkward silence quickly falls over the trio. Since her father is finally here, Kim decides to head home and leave Sasha behind. He is glad the misunderstanding was resolved without actually having to throw punches. Maybe this Fuma guy just looks like him, but Ivan is still extremely curious. He wants to know if Kim was the one who defeated his guard captain, Boris. Kim wonders if he means the guy he slugged earlier. He actually feels kind of bad. He honestly thought the guy was a kidnapper, so he struck without holding back. That confession triggers Ivan instantly, and he lunges forward like a bullet. He targets Kim with a deadly punch, his murderous aura making the air shake. But Kim manages to react just in time, using his heavy backpack as a makeshift shield. Kim asks the old guy if he is insane, but Ivan just smiles. He is thrilled the kid blocked the attack, wanting to see his power. Kim complains about all the manga he bought being destroyed. There is no way he will let this slide, but Ivan moves like an afterimage, unleashing a flurry of punches. He finishes the heavy assault with a brutal roundhouse kick, but Kim is still standing strong. This only makes Ivan even more excited by his crazy potential. Kim wonders why this crazy man is beating him up while calling him a genius. Ivan just laughs. An ordinary high school kid with no real training is going toe-to-toe with his top guards and himself. It is completely impossible. He is a genius seen once in 100 years. Kim desperately wants this noisy old man to shut the hell up, but gets hit with a job offer instead. Ivan asks Kim to join him, promising to unlock his true potential. Kim finally understands what is happening. Scramble Love is not a regular rom-com anymore. That offer is straight out of a classic battle shonen. At first it was a standard rom-com, but now things are different since he entered this world and started lifting weights. The reason he keeps getting dragged into fights is because they mistake him for some buff main character. Maybe that explains why he has this crazy superhuman strength. He even imagines himself on the cover with Ryuji. He wonders if this series is published by Jump, which explains the sudden shift from unpopular romance to a hit shonen. The author might have cracked under the pressure of the rankings. If that is true, he is going to be surrounded by dangerous people from now on. Kim is not happy about this, while Ivan is about to offer him a massive scholarship, covering all expenses, a private house, and a sports car. Seriously, anyone would burn their college degree for an offer that sweet. But Kim proves he is just built different, blocking the heavy blow while smirking right in Ivan's face, flatly rejecting the deal, no matter how strong the veteran is. Kim knows he is destined to lose to Ryuji eventually, so he should just stay close to the main protagonist to remain safe. Poor Ivan has no idea Kim is using Ryuji's plot armor, and now he is about to get sent straight to the afterlife. A brutal punch to the solar plexus completely knocks the wind out of his lungs. Another heavy blow follows, but Kim spots an opening, slapping the giant Russian across his face. This is more about disrespect than actual damage. Now Ivan is absolutely furious, and Kim knows he completely messed up. Ivan grabs him by the head, lifts him off the floor, and calls him boy. Like some legendary god of war, he tells Kim that when you try to hit a target, you cannot use pillow hands. You must strike with the pure intent to kill. The giant demonstrates this immediately by putting his entire weight into the next devastating strike. Can our guy survive this absolute monster, or does his journey end right here? Kim barely tilts his head out of the way, narrowly avoiding getting his skull smashed like a grape. The concrete wall behind him instantly shatters under the old man's fist. Kim gasps for breath, knowing that was entirely too close for comfort. He only survived because he broke free from that iron grip. What kind of insane, monstrous power was packed into that punch. That is the kind of brutal strike from a total nightmare. Ivan begins muttering something in Russian. Kim just stares back in complete confusion, wondering if this giant even speaks a single word of English. Then the man explains this is the secret Roman imperial martial art, representing the emperor's double-headed eagle. Right now, Kim knows he is in serious trouble. He tries desperately to block the incoming barrage of attacks, barely protecting his vital organs. Even with his meta-vision active, he cannot keep up with this speed. Sasha begs her father to stop, but the massive Ivan tells her to back off. This is between him and the kid who rejected his offer. He will either bring Kim back or bury him 6 feet under. Kim is gasping for the very first time. He is completely outmatched and actively losing. Ivan tells the kid to stop playing the hero if he wants to survive. He needs to return to Russia with him. Ivan promises to teach him everything he knows, calling him a natural-born fighter. After all, Kim can somehow block his attacks. Strikes that even the elite members of his own clan cannot handle. The weak must always submit to the strong, and he promises the boy ultimate power if he just agrees. But Kim knows that as long as he refuses, this beating is not going to stop. Kim quietly mutters that he already has people he needs to protect right here. Memories of his friends flash through his mind. There is absolutely no reason to abandon them. For empty things like money, fame, and luxury over in Russia, he looks up and tells the old man to shut his mouth and head back to his frozen wasteland. Ivan respects that pride, but warns him it will only lead to his grave. The giant easily ducks Kim's desperate swing, crouching low to deliver a finishing strike. The devastating jab sends a massive shockwave straight through his face. Kim stumbles back, gasping. But the mob boss is not going to give him a second to breathe. He follows up with another crushing attack. Kim attempts a desperate counter, but Ivan simply slips his head out of the way, grabs the boy by his collar, and lifts him high up before delivering a massive punch directly into his solar plexus. Kim coughs up a spray of blood. This monster makes Boris look like a joke. He truly is on another level. Sasha watches in shock, witnessing a battle between two eras of peak strength. She screams at her father to stop and let Kim go since he saved her life. But Ivan is absolutely not interested in listening to her as she continues to argue. Ivan coldly threatens to erase the mistake he made 18 long years ago if she persists. She refuses to back down. He grabs her collar, throwing her several meters away. Kim is absolutely furious that this monster won't even spare his own daughter. Every muscle screams in agony as Kim drags himself up. Ivan just mocks him, telling him to fight. If he can't back up his words, things are about to get ugly fast. Ivan raises his hand to deliver the final strike when something sharp slices through the air. 3 kunai thud into the dirt right at his feet, weapons from the legendary Black Yaksha. Another blade flies past. Suddenly, a female shinobi leaps right between Kim and his attacker. Kim recognizes her instantly from the Kendo Club. She is the 17th head of the Fuma ninja clan. Her name is Fuma Yukika. Kim panics, wondering why she is here instead of running away. But the young ninja reveals she is looking for the exact same mysterious man. It turns out he is actually her father, lost to them 10 years ago. Ivan remembers the day Black Yaksha vanished from the hidden weed village. Rumors said the legendary warrior had a daughter, but he had no idea she was a fighter. Fuma ignores him, quickly pressing a glowing golden pill into Kim's hand. She tells him there is no time to explain, he just needs to swallow it. This sacred clan medicine is even stronger than a senzu bean, designed to unlock latent potential. Ivan just laughs at their desperation. Whatever they are planning, it will not save them. He is not going to stand around and wait for some cheap power-up either. Get ready. Fuma promises to buy him exactly 1 minute. Kim stares at the golden pill in his hand. He usually avoids taking sketchy medicine from strangers, but right now, his options are pretty limited. Anything beats getting beaten into a pulp. He tosses the pill into his mouth. Instantly, a violent surge of raw energy ignites every single meridian inside his body. He starts sweating profusely, praying this is not some forbidden drug that drains his life force. Suddenly, his muscles swell as a blazing inferno of pure energy erupts around him. He screams in agony. Did the girl trick him, or is this his actual salvation? The blazing aura intensifies by the second, accompanied by his agonizing shrieks. The heat is so intense that his clothes are instantly vaporized right off his skin. He looks like the sun itself. Honestly, who knew a guy with a $20 haircut could do this? But Kim feels completely unstoppable, like a warrior who just ascended to a whole new level. It is like a third eye has opened, letting him perceive the world in perfect clarity. An incredibly massive, foreign energy swirls violently around his entire frame. Fuma watches in absolute disbelief. The results are way beyond anything she ever expected. It is like his entire power reserve opened up at once, a true Kaioken moment. But it only lasts for 5 minutes. He has to defeat Ivan before his time runs out. Ivan is genuinely intrigued now. Will this finally be a fight worthy of his time? Kim steps protectively in front of the girls, warning Ivan to never touch them again. They are forcing his hand, turning him into a monster he never wanted to be. Ivan just laughs hysterically, mocking him. What is he going to do, call the law? Threats are completely empty, unless you can back them up with some serious force. Girls watch in horror, realizing this man is an absolute menace to society. Ivan challenges Kim to prove his justice right now. A blazing tiger aura erupts behind him. He tells Kim to bring everything he's got, launching a devastating first jab. But this time Kim actually blocks it. Ivan is thrilled while Kim feels a chill. He can actually track the attacks. Kim waits for the next strike and dodges. He dodges at the last moment, aiming to counterattack, for the first time. Since this fight started, Ivan is actually pushed back. Kim instantly counters with a heavy punch right to the face, and Ivan barely manages to dodge by a hair. Maybe it is the boost from that pill, but Kim is playing on a completely different level now, but Ivan refuses to accept this. There is simply no way. To some Japanese high schooler, Ivan screams, calling himself Griffin the Emperor, and even screeches loudly like a wild eagle, ordering Kim to die on the spot. Blue clashes against red. Kim watches the incoming fist in slow motion and grabs his opponent's arm, but that is exactly what Ivan wanted. He prepares to rip Kim's hand off with his griffin claws. Sure enough, sharp fingers dig deep, drawing blood. Kim grimaces but tells Ivan to hold on tight because he is in for a wild ride. Kim swings the old man around, slamming him down right under his feet, and immediately launching a kick straight to the chin. Kim pauses as Ivan starts fading out. Between consciousness and blackout, the old man cannot believe this is happening. The strongest mobster in the entire world, utterly beaten by a Japanese student. Absolutely impossible, yet there Kim stands, looking completely jacked and glorious. He apologizes, revealing he is actually Korean. Honestly, this plot twist shocks the girls even more than his victory. With the head of the egg family down, he can finally return to a quiet life. Honestly, Furuma never expected Kim to win this. How is he this strong? Sasha runs over, asking if he is okay. She apologizes for her father's actions, promising to handle the messy aftermath. Kim just sighs. Sasha knows her stubborn father won't stay down easily. She plans to sneak him out of the country. Suddenly, Kim finally collapses, feeling the terrible physical backlash of that booster pill. Furuma offers to drag Kim away while Sasha manages her father. Nearby civilians begin crowding around, wondering if the man on the floor is the immortal Ivan. Before anyone figures it out, both groups quietly slip away. Perhaps they will never meet again. Golden Week finally ends and Kim drags himself through the school hallways like a zombie after the brutal battle. His shoulders are stiffer than those weird, crusty socks in your brother's closet. It feels like he got hit by a speeding truck. Luckily, no news articles popped up, meaning he can keep a low profile, but he has no idea what is waiting for him very soon. The homeroom teacher calls out, demanding silence because a brand new transfer student is joining them today. She is arriving straight from their sister school in Russia, and as everyone predicted, this brand new student is none other than Sasha. Kim instantly turns completely pale. He definitely does not want to face her monster of a father. Sasha introduces herself, sharing her hobbies of shooting guns, horseback riding, watching anime, and reading books. Plus, she recently fell in love with a certain boy here. She points right at Kim, who immediately realizes his peaceful, normal life is over. Ryuji smiles at this sudden, bold confession. He never figured Kim for a ladies' man. Kim feels like he is about to pass out, staring at the blue-haired girl. She points right at him. The entire class is instantly super curious. She explains she learned Japanese from anime and mentions her parents are in business. But everyone is way more interested in finding out if she really likes Kim. She freezes, hoping it is not what she thinks. Sasha reveals Kim actually helped her out, and her dream guy has to be stronger than her dad, so of course she is totally into Kim. everyone is locked onto the love triangle he has. Spinning, he has Kishimoto, Karen, and Sasha eating right out of his hands. To make things worse, rumors say he is also seeing the school president. As the rumors spread, Kishimoto starts feeling pretty bad for her friend. She also coldly wonders if he was keeping busy during her trip. He even bagged himself a foreign girlfriend. Did he order her off the dark web or something? Kim claims it is all a misunderstanding, but Kishimoto shudders at his lame excuse. It is a total rom-com main character excuse. Kim realizes he has become what he hated. Sasha was one of the original heroines, and Ryuji was supposed to handle her. But everything is ruined because Kim meddled. He just wanted a quiet, comfortable background life while Ryuji dealt with the massive headache of girls fighting over him. Now Kim is truly suffering from success, complaining his steak is too juicy and his lobster is too buttery. Honestly, it should have been me. He is still complaining about his peaceful life being ruined when suddenly, Karen arrives. Rocking her usual tomboy look, she greets Kim warmly, asking if he had a good holiday. Instantly, Sasha feels her danger senses tingling. She warns Karen to back off her man. Karen asks since when they were a thing and our bro suddenly feels both his arms getting squeezed by two pairs of soft pillows. Redhead yells that Kim is actually her friend Kishimoto's boyfriend. Kishimoto gasps in shock, feeling totally dizzy. Meanwhile, Kim is sweating bullets, wondering since when he became Kishimoto's boyfriend without even knowing it. Kishimoto screams at her that it is not like that, they are just friends. Karen cannot believe she misunderstood this whole time, holding back her own moves because of Kishimoto. Sasha wants to stake her claim on Kim like a superpower, claiming rich land. The second oil is discovered. While those two get into a massive catfight, a quiet girl casually walks up to Kim, asking to borrow his notes. She missed some lectures. Kim gladly hands them over, and she promises to return them soon. Kishimoto is highly confused. Why would a top student need to borrow Kim's notes? Kim explains she is actually one of the top 10 students in their grade. Karen gets suspicious. Why would a genius need notes from a guy like Kim? Kim reveals that he is actually brilliant, making all the girls' software crash like a broken computer. Kim says he actually ranked first in the grade, which is even more shocking. His buddy chimes in, saying Kim looks lazy but is a secret genius. Honestly, any normal person would be just as stunned. Suddenly all three girls look highly impressed, so our boy decides to make a swift exit by telling them he urgently needs to use the bathroom. They easily see right through his embarrassment. Kim wonders if he can escape these three girls quietly and just hang out. I himself, no such luck. Poor bro gets completely cornered by the three beauties in the cafeteria. Kim deeply misses the peaceful days of eating his lunch alone in the parking lot. Now they follow him around like baby chicks while everyone glares in envy. He wonders how these girls have so much energy and tries to calm things down by casually asking how their midterm exams went. Immediately all three girls bow their heads in shame. They really should study regularly, but they are too busy goofing around. Karen fails history, Sasha struggles with Japanese, and Kishimoto completely lacks common sense. Kim realizes this is his golden opportunity to get them to study together. After all, apes together are strong. They instantly start arguing over whose house they should use. They are already planning their very first study session, while Kim lets out a diabolical laugh. Like a total supervillain, he realizes he will finally have his weekend completely free. Just beautiful. The sun rises the next morning as Kim wipes sweat from his brow. He finally finished building his dream home gym using that sweet protection cash he extorted from Sasha. Time to test out this brand new gear. He grabs a dumbbell and starts pressing it happily when his phone suddenly rings. Who could that be? Turns out it is Kishimoto, backed by a literal army of terrifying men in black suits. She demands that Kim come downstairs right now. What on earth is happening? Why is a massive mob of Yakuza surrounding her and staring him down like he owes them money? This is getting crazy. Is our boy's life destined to be just as chaotic as Chichai marrying Goku? Kim looks around, completely stunned. Since when did Kishimoto become a mob boss? She gestures for him to get his muscular self into the car immediately. The driver is the same guy he knocked out cold, Captain Boris. Kishimoto mentions this giant is actually Sasha's uncle. Kim sits beside her, asking how this even happened. She simply explains he is her bodyguard. Naturally, he follows her. Wherever she goes, he goes. Kim actually feels pretty bad for the giant chauffeur. Boris has to drive his own attacker around. Soon, they arrive at Karen's massive mansion. The chairman is thrilled to see them. Kim recognizes the old man instantly. Despite that ridiculous wig he wore before, still, he pretends they have never met. He introduces himself as Kim, and the chairman is deeply moved by this. Remarkably dependable young man, he is overjoyed that Karen chose him, already seeing him as a perfect future son-in-law candidate. Talk about a massive leap of faith. The chairman then greets Boris, noting that it has been quite a while. They go way back, and he cannot believe Ivan's daughter attends the same school as his precious Karen, in the very same class. Poor guy has no idea. They are crushing on the exact same boy. When asked about his injuries, Boris points directly at Kim while speaking in rapid Russian. Kim wonders why this guy is pointing at him and snitching on him like this. Doesn't he know that snitches get stitches? The translator reveals to the chairman that Kim did this. Kishimoto is utterly stunned. Boris explains that he was totally overpowered by this high school kid. The legendary Fist of Destruction was actually beaten by a muscular teenager. Kim realizes he is completely doomed. Two powerful gang bosses now have their eyes on him. He desperately wishes he could just get kicked out of the mansion so he can go home and lift weights in peace. He retreats to his mental happy place, deadlifting 300 kilograms. The chairman laughs, saying that is expected of his future son-in-law. Karen immediately snaps at her father, telling him to stop saying such embarrassing things. In front of her friends, he apologizes and the group is escorted to her room. Kim looks around at this absolute mess, wondering if he actually did Ryuji a favor. By taking his place as the main target, they all sit down and Kim goes over each girl's academic weaknesses. First up, Kishimoto is terrible at science subjects, maybe because she is blonde. She needs to memorize every single formula in the book. A quiz is coming up, so they must study hard. Karen is bad at history, so she needs another study method, while Sasha shares her notes so they can review Japanese lessons together. Finally, their study session kicks off and the first hour is pretty rough, but they still push through. By hour 2, Sasha is playing on her phone. Karen is building an eraser robot, and Kishimoto is fast asleep while our boy studies hard. For a former grad student crushed by engineering in his past life, a 2-hour session is absolutely nothing. After studying for so long, he decides to take a break and asks to use Karen's kitchen. She wonders why, but he just smiles. Since they are tired, he'll whip up a quick snack. They are shocked this guy can fight, study, show off charisma, and cook. He finally serves up 4 bowls of fruit dessert, leaving all the girls drooling over the delicious treats. It is so beautiful that they even snap pictures for social media. Sasha, being the boldest, tells Kim to open wide so they can swap bites. He stares at the spoon hovering right in front of him. Looking at her pretty puppy dog eyes, he cannot refuse taking a reluctant bite. Now both Karen and Kishimoto feel like they might commit a literal war crime if they do not get Kim to eat from their hands as well. They are totally crashing out, and Karen feels like an idiot for not making her move sooner. She thought Kishimoto and Kim were already an actual item, only for Kishimoto to decline, giving Sasha the perfect opening she has been chasing after. Honestly, she fell for Kim the second she put on his hoodie. As Kim stares at his bowl, Karen decides she finally has a real shot at romance, and trust me, she is not going to blow this. The midterms are finally over, and Kishimoto scored higher than usual. Kim is incredibly proud of her hard work. Now, she wants to celebrate by treating them to karaoke. Only one person bombed the exams, and that is his best buddy. Speaking of school, another rumor is going around that Kim fought 20 tough Russian mobsters on the street and won. Kim cannot believe there were witnesses around, though his friend still laughs it off. No way a total dummy can fight 20 guys at once. Sasha smirks, whispering to ask if it is true. She also decides to formally invite herself to their karaoke session so they can hear her beautiful singing voice. They agree, and everyone heads out toward the karaoke bar in Shibuya. Kim's friend asks if they are hungry. It is lunchtime after all, and he knows a killer burger joint nearby. That is when a random delinquent speeds past them on a bike, calling them idiots. Kishimoto quickly checks her bag and realizes her wallet is completely gone. It was loaded with cash for her to treat everyone today. Kim would rather die than let a thief ruin their outing. He drops his bag and sprints after the motorbike, telling the others to head into the restaurant first. Meanwhile, the thief on the bike is happily inspecting the stolen wallet. He is thrilled a high schooler was carrying so much cash, that is. When he hears someone screaming, he turns to see a 200-pound ball of muscle charging right at him with a terrifying aura surrounding him. It is scarier than a raging bull elephant chasing down a safari jeep. The boys scramble onto their bikes and pedal for dear life, but Kim keeps right up. With them at top speed, somehow closing the gap with pure rage and insane raw power, he demands the wallet, gripping the bike frame so hard that the metal groans and cracks. He effortlessly lifts the whole ride like it is nothing but a toy. The tough guys immediately lose all their confidence and beg for mercy. They desperately hope this monster is not related to Big Terry, or things will get way worse for them. They hand over the stolen wallet, hop back onto their bikes and speed off. Kim is just glad to get the cash back. He remembers Rika promised free karaoke, but a mysterious stalker is watching him from the shadows. Is this a new enemy or someone else entirely? The sun begins to set, and our muscular high schooler heads home. Well, not quite. He needs to hit the gym for a late workout first. Just then, a deep voice calls out, calling him boss and begging him to wait. A massive, heavily built guy approaches, practically bowing as he asks to speak. Kim freaks out, awkwardly telling the giant that he is strictly into girls. This is the first time he has seen someone almost his own size. But the behemoth drops to his knees, begging Kim to train him. Talk about an anime moment. Passers-by recognize Kim from his family restaurant and stare in shock. Why is he hanging out with a massive delinquent? The giant introduces himself as Godu, forcing Kim to quickly drag him away out of the spotlight. Believe it or not, Godu is only 17, despite looking like a seasoned construction worker working to feed and clothe 4 children. He is the leader of a biker gang called the Night Parade of 100 Demons. Kim cringes at the ridiculous gang name, realizing the thief from earlier was one of Godu's underlings. Why is the boss stalking him then? Godu explains that Kim is a real legendary man. As a kid, Godu was huge, but incredibly gentle, making him an easy target for bullies at school. He was targeted everywhere, so he decided he wanted to become strong. To survive, he completely changed his look and started acting tough every day. He drowned his hair in gel and bought a motorcycle to look menacing. Putting on a tough persona, he pretended to be a hardened criminal. Eventually, the bullied kid slowly transitioned into the leader of the bullies. But watching Kim run down a speeding motorcycle to help a friend changed everything. He saw what a true man is supposed to look like. Kim suddenly feels a massive wave of guilt, knowing he only did it for the free karaoke. But Godu will not take no for an answer, begging to become his student. Sighing, he wonders why his life is suddenly turning into a bizarre martial arts manga. How does he get rid of this giant crybaby? He makes a deal. He will accept Godu under one condition: survive 3 days of hellish training. If the guy can actually make it to the end, he gets to be his sole disciple. Behind that calm face, Kim is planning to work him to absolute exhaustion. He wants him to quit by 4 in the morning. Kim is already out running, with Godu desperately trying to keep pace. He figured a guy this big would have great stamina, but he was wrong. It is pretty pathetic. Kim honestly wonders why the hell he even cares. It is the same question a disappointed dad asks when he hears the news. Kim finds it much easier to just push him away, but deep down, maybe he wanted something else. Maybe he just wanted a decent workout partner, a real gym bro. He finally leads Godo over. They stop at the monkey bars, and Kim tells the big guy to try a pull-up. For a muscular guy, he screams at the top of his lungs, completely startling Kim. But the poor guy cannot manage a single rep and crashes flat onto the ground. Kim cannot believe a guy this jacked is so weak. He tells Godo they are done. No more training, he is useless, worse than Yamcha, but Godo starts begging. He pleads with Kim to give him just 3 days to prove himself. If he cannot do a basic pull-up by then, he will leave. Godo explains his issue. He only focused on bulking up and totally ignored his stamina. Now he is just show muscles. He is actually weak as hell. That is why he wants Kim to train him. The pathetic guy keeps rubbing his hands together. Kim finally sighs and tells him to follow along. First lesson, dead hangs. Godo just hangs there, hour after hour until dawn. He stays up there until the sun rises. Later, on his way to school, Kim is shocked. He actually survived that brutal morning session. Kim cannot believe it. Seeing that drive motivates Kim to take this seriously. Godo is actually decent, not some thug. Suddenly, Kim's school friend pulls up and asks what is going on. Campus royalty is returning, the famous three beauties. Kim is totally clueless. His friend decides it is time to educate this uncultured swine. First is Kumiko, easily one of the most elegant girls on campus. Next up is Fuma. She is the fierce captain of the Kendo Club, and the third is the most famous. An actress named Minato. Kim did not expect her to attend their school. His friend starts simping hard, just waiting for her. Kim not impressed. Kim is not impressed. He heads out and finally arrives at the gym after school. Goto is tagging along right behind him, and they go see the head coach. The coach is instantly impressed with Goto's massive build. Kim asks for a quick favor. Let him train here for 3 days. The coach laughs, unable to say no to Kim. Since Goto has a solid physique, expectations are high, but that poor guy is doomed. Those high expectations are about to get completely crushed, like a fresh college grad. Entering the brutal job market, the coach quickly tells everyone to go change. First up is cardio, and naturally, Goto looks like he is about to fly off the treadmill. He hits the emergency stop and faceplants anyway. The coach immediately loses all hope. For a massive guy, his coordination is tragic, absolutely non-existent. He has the stamina of a 13-year-old gamer. With him in this shape, the coach is lost. He does not even know where to start, yet Goto begs to finish his 3 days. He even grabs the coach's legs. The coach yells that he is not some dirty old man. He tells him to get off his knees. Once everyone stands, Goto breathes a sigh of relief. But by sunset, Goto looks like he fought Satan on his home turf. He is barely alive. Kim asks if he is okay, and a trembling voice answers. Goto insists he is fine. To become Kim's disciple, he will survive anything. Kim realizes he cannot avoid this conversation any longer. He looks Goto in the eyes. They need to establish a firm boundary if Goto wants to train under him. And become a real man, he has to quit that biker gang once and for all. He gasps in shock. Can he really throw away his entire identity for a guy he just met? Kim tells Goto straight up, they cannot move forward unless he quits the gang. Otherwise, he is no longer his disciple. Kim holds his breath, waiting for an answer. Will he actually abandon his old life for something better? Goto looks completely torn. After all, the leader of the night parade gang took him in during his darkest days. He called him a brother in arms. To Goto, those thugs were his only family. Kim tells him that leaving the gang is his own choice, but a real man protects what matters. He needs to protect his actual family, not some street gang. That makes Goto remember his mom. She is the one he truly needs to protect. Ever since his dad walked out when he was 3, his mom raised him all alone. He realizes Kim is absolutely right. It is time to leave the biker life behind. He has to follow Kim so he can grow strong enough to protect his mother. He spent years whining about his own pain, completely ignoring how hard his mother had it. Kim smiles warmly. He is genuinely glad his disciple wants to be a better son. But tomorrow marks their final day of training, and it is going to be absolute hell. Kim chuckles and asks if he is ready, and Goto shouts out a passionate yes. The next day, Kim arrives to find Goto pumping iron like an absolute madman. The coach explains that Goto has been hitting the machines hard for a full hour. The coach urges him to control his breathing and keep his core tight. This kid is overflowing with grit, proving he is a natural at both cardio and lifting. Watching his student push through the pain, Kim cannot help but feel incredibly proud. By the end of it, Goto can barely stand. His entire body is completely spent. They blasted his upper and lower body, so walking home is going to be a struggle. But tomorrow is their final session, and Kim has a special routine lined up. Tears streaming down his face, Goto gratefully thanks his mentor for all the guidance. Kim reaches into his bag and pulls out a massive bento box for him. He tells Goto to share this home-cooked meal with his mother tonight. It is packed with high protein, cooked in a traditional Chinese style. Goto starts bawling, utterly overwhelmed by his master's unexpected level of kindness. Even though Goto was a troublemaker, Kim treats him like a real son. He is truly a man of honor. Nearby, a little girl watches them in confusion. She is shocked to see a massive guy sobbing and bowing to an even bigger man. Goto proudly tells his best friend that he is officially joining Kim. But looking at how things are going, I feel something bad coming. Still, Goto happily walks home, carefully clutching his precious lunchbox. He feels like the luckiest guy alive to have found such an incredible master. No more biking, no more trouble, and no more disappointing his mom. Just then a voice calls out to him. He turns around slowly. It is his former gang member, badly beaten and desperately begging for help. The next day, 9 o'clock in the morning passes, and Godo is nowhere to be found. Kim worries the kid gave up and went back to his old biker gang. 2 hours pass with still no sign of Godo. Kim packs up his things. He feels pretty down about losing the promising new gym partner he wanted to train. But their last conversation keeps repeating in his mind like a broken record. The bitter disappointment weighs heavily on him until a sudden interruption. A biker approaches Kim, asking if he is Godo's boss. Urgent news. Godo cannot make it. Emergency. As the messenger tries to flee, Kim grabs him. Stop and talk, Kim orders. Meanwhile, the Devil Riders are facing massive trouble. Their rival leader Mao stands smugly, confronting Godo, whose frame looks incredibly tense. Pure rage, Godo fumes silently because Mao targeted his vulnerable, defenseless former crew. Mao just laughs, mocking the old team for being too weak to fight. Godo's resignation made it incredibly easy for Mao to absorb the defeated faction. Bruised and broken, his former crew lies on the dirt in absolute defeat. They apologize to Godo, but he only glares at Mao, swearing vengeance. Then a cheap punk with a $5 haircut blocks his path forward. Meet Maido. He is the traitor Godo personally appointed to lead the gang. To make things worse, Godo's muscles are stiff from his brutal training. Enter Kim. He calmly walks into the light with an incredibly heavy aura. The temperature drops. With the sun behind him, he looks deeply irritated. Everyone panics, wondering who this massive powerhouse is. Kim asks Godo if he is fine. He already made the runner spill the beans about what actually happened here. Maido conspired with Mao, selling out his own crew to merge the factions. Betrayal. Right after Godo resigned, Mao struck them hard. They beat everyone black and blue, aiming to establish the ultimate biker empire. Kim recognizes the danger, realizing his own actions helped trigger this local war. He orders the trembling messenger to lead the way. Time to settle things. Presently, Kim stands directly in front of Mao, radiating absolute power and confidence. Mao immediately mistakes Kim for some legendary, mysterious retired boss of the gang. Hilarious, Kim calmly explains that he only met Godo a few days ago. The arrogant thug actually tries to recruit Kim, offering him a top position. Bad move. Mao has no idea Kim rejected a massive Russian mafia syndicate. The beaten bikers beg Kim not to listen, warning him of Mao's cruelty. Childish offer, Kim says, completely dismissing the gangster with a cold laugh. He asks what a petty criminal even hopes to accomplish at the top. Do they think they can fight real authority? Mao boasts about making them kneel. Delusion. Kim, possessing a highly analytical brain, delivers a cold reality check. He explains that the police only ignore them because they are currently insignificant. Once they grow too large, the state will crush them and lock them up. There they can enjoy dropping the soap and riding a very different bike. Mao refuses to listen, arrogantly promising to destroy any law enforcement that comes. Too arrogant, Kim realizes these punks will only learn after a severe beating. Infuriated, Mao orders his entire gang to swarm Kim immediately. Several bikers rev their engines, circling him aggressively, but Kim does not flinch. One thug swings a heavy chain directly at Kim, trying to end him. Kim effortlessly catches the metal links, yanking the rider high into the air. He slams the airborne thug directly into another rider, clearing 5 enemies instantly. Instant regret, seeing his men drop like flies, Mao's confident grin completely vanishes. But Kim only beckons them forward, telling anyone who wants to die to step up. 2 more fools charge with baseball bats, but the cheap wood shatters against him. Brain damage, he violently slams their heads together before tossing them aside like garbage. The gang leader calls his men absolute idiots for struggling against one single human. It's like complaining that 100 crying babies can't shut down one active nuclear bomb, so the boss demands they handle the threat immediately. Godo tosses a wooden baton over to Kim, who just grins. He thanks his gym buddy before instantly taking down anyone within 1 meter of him. He easily cuts through the mob, marching straight toward the gang leader. The boss won't let that happen, sending a biker speeding straight at Kim. Kim pauses, wondering if his brand new life is about to end as roadkill. The gang leader screams for him to die a completely miserable death. Deafening crash echoes, forcing everyone nearby to stop in their tracks. Godo holds his breath as this monstrous teenager blocks a speeding motorcycle. He stopped it cold with his bare hands, which makes absolutely no sense. The terrified writer calls him a monster, which is a word Kim hates. Lately, even his gym coach keeps calling him a freak for building muscle. He was even hit with a toxic accusation that he is taking steroids. That seems to be the only way people justify his insane physical power. Kim grits his teeth, furiously shouting that he is completely natural and steroid-free. In a fit of pure rage, he lifts the entire bike overhead. That massive motorcycle alone weighs more than 200 kilograms, guys. The leader frantically screams that he never accused him, but it is too late. Kim slams the bike down, causing a massive crash that knocks the boss cold. The remaining thugs instantly lose their minds and flee in absolute terror. Kim scratches his chin, noting the deep scar on the unconscious leader's face. Instead of chasing his lost honor, this guy was just terrorizing neighborhood kids. Kim checks in on Godu, asking his friend where he thinks he's going. Godu realizes he cannot abandon the gym, as he is their glue. The master smiles warmly and tells his student to follow his own path. Their teacher-student relationship might be over, but the boy is already a man. He proved his strength by stepping up to protect something precious to him. The gym master invites Kim to come train whenever he wants, smiling warmly. Godu fights back tears, promising he will definitely visit the place again. When Monday finally arrives, the entire school is talking about our boy. The street brawl is trending online, with Kim featured as the thumbnail. Now everyone knows he single-handedly crushed a gang of vicious bikers. His classmate wonders where all the popular girls have gone today. It seems they are having lunch together to gossip about something major. Kim's buddy is disappointed, even though he never stood a chance anyway. But his heart completely skips a beat when the real star arrives. A stunning, famous young celebrity has just walked into their high school. His friend is losing his absolute mind trying to secure her autograph. Instead, the gorgeous celebrity locks eyes with Kim and walks over. She politely asks if she can join them, completely shocking his friend. Kim is totally confused, but it turns out she wants a quick favor. She is highly curious about his strength and wants to recruit him. She asks if he wants to debut as a professional television actor. NPC turned main character of a fight manga, and now he is basically Dwayne The Rock Johnson as an actor. What exactly is in store for our guy? Only time will tell.